bitch, because I spit hot fire.
I am so sorry about that. I had just got an important phone call and I had to take it real quick. So the intro was on repeat. So my apologies. But what's going on, everybody? How you doing tonight? My name is Suge, and it is a Steel Conspiracy night. Shout out to always my good friend, Mr. Hendo. How you doing, Hendo? Good evening. Hope you're having a great night. So yeah, it's a Steel Conspiracy night. We are going to be talking some AFC NFC championship games, but I'm more excited because I get to talk to one of my good friends, and we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble WWE. So if you're not a wrestling head, uh, you could probably leave after that, after we talk some NFC AFC. But you know, that's what I'm excited about because I love wrestling. And so since I love wrestling, I got to bring my man in, and we're gonna have him with the intro.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
I cannot wait for your video to get taken down.
Absolutely. It's going to get taken down in like 2 seconds. That's why I'm going to cut it off right there.
The video is going to get taken down so quickly. It's not
so quickly. So quickly. That's all right. It's worth it. You're worth it. What's going on, Chris Anthony Lopez? How you doing tonight?
What's poppin'? What is going on, party people? The Steel Conspiracy Podcast. You know, I was thinking about it before I jumped in here. Like, I don't think I've ever been invited to do a sports pod since I've been video podcasting. Whenever we started doing this thing like 3 years ago, you know, I don't think I've ever.
But you know a lot of sports though, because like we talk backstage all the time, and we talk very big into baseball.
Very big into baseball. Yes.
But you are a football fan. You tweet about football constantly because you are a Chicago Bears fan.
Yes.
You like the NBA. You're a Chicago Bulls fan, which I don't approve of you being a Chicago Bulls fan. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you're very much a sports person, and obviously you're a wrestling fan.
Yep.
You're a competitive person. I have seen you be very competitive when we've done shows together, especially where you have to answer questions. So you know, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit my boy. But also too, I had hit you up Saturday, and I was like, yo, what are you doing tonight? Like, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. And you were like, I'm having a party, and
I had a watch party. Yeah.
And I was just like, damn it. One person I actually want to talk to about the Rumble with is like, can't do it. I'm like, damn it.
It was a good show.
I hit you up and I was like, hey, what are you doing this week? You're like, nothing, I'm free. I was like, dude, can you come on? Let's talk. We'll talk football, but we'll also talk Rumble. And you're like, yeah, I'm down.
I'm more than happy to talk some football, dog. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know you're always down to talk sports. I know you're always down to talk because you just go. You know, you just go. But that's what I love about you, man. So I'm very, very happy you're here. Shout out some people. Mr. Jeremy Miller is in the stream. What's going on, Jeremy?
What's going on, Jeremy?
Shout out to Hendo. He says, Cal.
What's poppin'? What's good?
Jeremy says, nice belt.
Thank you.
Raven C, what's up, fam? I saw your message earlier. This is not a Ravens Conspiracy podcast. This is Steel Conspiracy. Clearly excited. I love you, but relax with your messages. You're not doing anything this Saturday.
Excuse me.
That's my boy, Gary. He's very over the top.
Doing you.
I'm very flattered.
I'm flattered.
Very over the top. But Cal,
yes,
let's get into this right away. Let's talk about the NFC AFC championship game. We'll start with the NFC.
Yeah,
because you are a Chicago Bears fan. This was a game a lot of people thought it was going to be very close. It was going to
right,
and you know, you had Brock Purdy coming in. He was the hot thing. You had this number one defense in the 49ers.
Yep.
You know, you had Jalen Hurts, you know, the number one team, and everyone thought this was going to be a great game, and then it's not. It started off with some controversy. Jalen Hurts throws to Devontae Smith. It was a really good play, but he gets up and he tells them, "Yo, let's go.
Yeah.
And they get the play off real quick, and you find out that he didn't catch the ball. The ball actually came out, but they scored. San Francisco comes back and scores right away. So you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a defensive battle. And then it just goes downhill from there. Brock Purdy gets hurt.
Yep.
He throws the ball and it becomes a fumble rather than a pass.
Saw a couple of those on Sunday.
Yeah, and just everything just goes downhill for the San Francisco 49ers. They ended up having to put in a backup, Josh Johnson, who only threw for 74 yards, 13 attempts. And it became a rout. Now, people, Eagles fans are going nuts. They're going back to Super Bowl. They're excited.
Yeah.
But this performance, let's be honest, it wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. Jalen Hurts only threw 121 yards, no touchdowns. Miles Sanders scored 2 touchdowns. Hurts did score a touchdown on a run. Boston Scott scored a touchdown. As lopsided as this game was, it doesn't feel like it was that dominant. It just feels like 49ers just kind of just things didn't go right, and Eagles were able to take advantage of it. What were your thoughts on the game? Were you able to catch the game, or did you watch it on replay? What were just your overall thoughts?
Look, so this game had so much hype going into it, right? Like, obviously, like the Niners for a lot of folks were the favorites going into this. Like, even with Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, you're going to throw him into the starting position. He was crushing. He had not lost a game starting for the Niners, which is crazy as hell. But again, the plague of the Niners having to play quarterback roulette all season bit them in the ass when they needed it to succeed. And I feel so bad for Brock Purdy because low-key, I don't want to feed into the narrative that if Brock played the whole game, the Niners would have won. I don't know that. None of us know that. We have no damn clue. But it would have been a way tighter contest than what the hell we saw midday on Sunday. You know, like it was your defense being gassed the whole time. They're being ran all over. Like what you said, Jalen Hurts didn't even have that killer of a game. Like he didn't even throw for 200 passing yards. And we're out here.
He didn't even throw over 150.
Right, he didn't even hit 150. So like you're getting creamed on the ground, and your defense is gassed because you're out here. You lose Brock Purdy. Again, I don't know what's worse for Brock Purdy, the fact that he lost this game or that he tore his UCL, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the Josh Johnson input, the dude, your 4th quarterback that you've had to play this year. And for a team like the Niners, you went through 4 quarterbacks by the time you finished the NFC Championship game. Nuts. But Josh Johnson obviously was not going to be the answer to this. And there's nothing that the Niners have done about that Eagles D, who like the Eagles defense is so damn good. And the Eagles are just a great team. But again, I was buying into the Niners hype. I really was. Yeah. Like on paper, they looked great. Purdy was looking great. Fucking how many weapons you had? Fucking Ayuk, McCaffrey, Debo. Like it was a very good squad. And then you lose your 3rd quarterback in the year, and then they ended up losing Josh Johnson because of a concussion. He got concussed. He didn't even play. I don't even think he played. I don't even think he threw like 20 passes. Like it was
13,
rough. Yeah, it was
passes.
Rough. It was a very bad game for the Niners. Like, and I don't want to pin it all on the Eagles, but they look very good. But also, they played 2 games, and both games have been routes. So, and I don't know how to. I don't even know how to assess them going into the Super Bowl or into the big game, I should say.
Yeah, and also too, and you were saying you feel sorry for Brock Purdy. I actually feel sorry for him because had he been able to keep this game close, had he been won it, got to the Super Bowl, he was going to probably get paid next year or
totally
the year after. He probably could get traded and then get a deal and make some money. And I don't think anybody's going to want to touch him now. Like I think they maybe still trade value. They would still trade him. But
you keep saying trade. What do you mean by that? You don't think Brock's going to stick around the Niners?
If you pick Jalen Hurts to be your guy and you let a 3rd-string quarterback take the job from him, then why did you even take Jalen Hurts? That obviously
he's talking about Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. I said Trey Lance. Yeah. I apologize. If you drafted Trey Lance to be your guy,
Yeah.
and now a third string quarterback comes in, takes the position.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like? Do you really believe in Trey Lance then?
Oh, I'm not saying you don't believe in Trey Lance, but I'm very fascinated
And
that you're so
also
quick to dismiss Purdy, that you already are like, oh, like he's not starting next year.
Because I mean you have Trey Lance. You have to go with Trey Lance. You
And the sample size for Trey isn't the best, so like we still don't know what Trey Lance looks like at his full power.
Also, too, give Trey Lance the same benefit of doubt. Brock Purdy had weapons on offense and a great defense.
Yeah,
if Trey Lance, if you give Trey Lance a starting position or starting job, and next year and he's 0 for 5, then it's a Brock Purdy might have been the thing, or maybe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got to give him the opportunity, especially because he was a first round draft pick, like he's not like a second round, he's not like a trade, he's your first round.
They sent a bunch of picks to Miami to choose him specifically,
so you need to ride with him. And if you want to get better, do you really think holding on to the last person pick in the draft is going to make it's going to make your team? Like, why not build upon that? If your team is this good,
right?
All right, we have Trey Lance as our franchise quarterback. We have weapons. We have a great defense. What was our flaw this year? That offensive line didn't look good in this game. All right, so we need to buff up our offensive line. Can we trade Brock Purdy for some picks? Can we trade him for an offensive lineman? What can we do? What can we do with him? I think that's the best case, and that's the best situation for the 49ers. Like, you have a diamond in the rough. Now use them to get value.
And that's why I say, like, I don't know what's worse for Purdy, the fact that he lost or that he tore his UCL. Because not only are you raising the questions of who's going to start for you next year, Purdy, the guy who got you to the NFC Championship game. Granted, you could put a lot of quarterbacks in his spot and they would probably succeed just as much, if not even more so than he would. A bunch of second, third string guys. Because who the hell would have thunk Mr. Irrelevant from this past draft was going to be, here we go, was going to be the guy,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like at this point, the Niners are going to give him at least a shot. Lance is, because, damn it. I don't know, dude. He was undefeated until his elbow fell off his body in the NFC Championship game. And imagine if they would have won. Imagine if he played the whole game and they would have won. And the Niners go to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. And imagine, God knows, imagine if he won the Super Bowl. You got to give him the spot. You don't know. They're going to go to camp. And Lance and Purdy are going to... Lance is going to have to fucking fight Brock Purdy for this shit. I don't think it's as easy as you're making it sound.
Well, here's the problem. If they go to now, granted, the 49ers could say, you know what, we're going to give Brock an opportunity. Him and Lance are going to fight it out in camp. Cool.
Right.
This is a bad situation for Lance, because if Lance loses to Mr. Irrelevant, the starting job,
hey, dog.
Good God. That's bad.
Dude, look, the idea of, I don't think, now, if you were to tell me this like 5-6 weeks ago, that Brock Purdy would take the Niners to the NFC Championship game, and one of the reasons that they lose is because he gets hurt halfway through the game. He doesn't even finish the game. And he tries to play, but he can't. He just can't because, UCL's torn. So, okay, great. You still got to give the guy a look going into next season. And again, all big ups. And I mean, again, like what I said, put a bunch of quarterbacks in that spot, they're going to succeed. And then you got a coach like Kyle Shanahan, who is just, again, playing quarterback roulette. Started with Lance, breaks his ankle, right? Or he broke his ankle or some shit like that. Garoppolo, weeks later, gets hurt. Put in Purdy. Boom. And we can't just dismiss him. Plus, in a league where so many teams are going to be looking for QBs are now like
that. But that's what I'm saying.
That's gold. But they're not going to trade for Brock Purdy. Are you kidding me? Like, with this draft coming up, and this is a whole different conversation for a different day.
We didn't think that somebody was going to get $250 million guaranteed, but Watson prove us wrong.
Deshaun ruined the quarterback market, and that's why Lamar ain't gonna re-sign with the Ravens. They're gonna have the franchises.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Lamar today. We got some news on that. 100 now, yeah, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that what are they really gonna do? Like, I think they have
we'll see.
Trade him.
I mean, but
you let him compete. You let him because I think you're right. You let him compete, and let's say he wins out. Do you trade Lance or hold on to him until midseason?
it's gonna be another Jordan Love situation where like they got this QB high in the draft, right? And he's just gonna be sitting there. You know, I'm not comparing Purdy to Aaron Rodgers by any means. Shit, Aaron Rodgers might be the quarterback for the damn Niners for all we know. But I'm sitting here and reassessing the Niners season. They established the future, and we cannot dismiss Brock Purdy being a part of that future of the franchise. Now, it may be Trey Lance. They may both show up to camp. Trey Lance is looking like, you know, he's looking like the shit. And they play him, and he's great. And the Niners are great again next year. Who knows? But Brock Purdy is so he's proved in the system that he can succeed. So, and I would love to watch in a different timeline where Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt. I would love to see him play this full game and what happens and who wins, if it's Niners or if it's the Eagles. Yeah. Because again, the Eagles ran all, and we keep talking about the Niners, and I want to show love to the Eagles too. Because I don't want to say I was on the Eagles bandwagon, because obviously, as Suge mentioned off top, I'm a Bears guy. Like the Bears are my team, and I love them, even though they were not great this year. The Eagles, I was high on them in the preseason. Like, the Eagles are going to be good. I even told a buddy of mine, I said, look, because he's big on the Cowboys, or he was big on the Cowboys. I said, dog, the Eagles are going to win the NFC East, and you should be scared of the damn Eagles. Because Miles Sanders, from last season to this one, glue the fuck up. Jalen Hurts is, even though he's going through it right now with his shoulder, he's still a very damn good quarterback, and we saw that throughout the entire year, passing and on the run. And you have the incredible tandem receiver package over there with fucking AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Oh my God. On top of a killer defense and a great offensive line.
And a great offensive line.
Great offensive line. That's the template. Like, I'm looking at the Bears over here. Like, that's the template right there is the Eagles. And they draft well and they spend their money wisely. And that is the template for all future teams, my Bears included. But the Eagles know what the hell they're doing. Granted, both playoff games have been routes. There's no way the big game against the Chiefs in a couple weeks will be a rout. There's no way in hell. This might be the toughest game the Eagles have played all year, especially looking back at their schedule. Like, their schedule wasn't too hard. Let's be real. Yeah. Like, let's be real with one another. But they're looking good, and I'm not going to discount them going into the Chiefs game. I'm not gonna. Like, that's, and we'll talk about the Chiefs in a minute.
I think you'd be crazy to discount them going into this Chiefs game. Like, I think they're going to be. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this game and how the Eagles react. Because you're right, it was two games that were routes, and we didn't have to see them struggle. We didn't have to see them face adversity. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Neither team gave them run for their money. Yeah. Neither one of them.
Yeah. What up, Big Reg? Hope you're having a great day. Big Reg.
What's poppin'?
Jerry Miller, Trent Williams couldn't control himself, sore loser. That's why I call them the 40 whiners. Now, I will say,
that was a little much.
In defense, he was protecting his guy. Like, he was protecting his guy.
Dog, but you're down, was it 31-7?
Yeah, I mean, but it builds up. It builds up. Come on, like, you're losing. You're getting manhandled, and then your wide receivers getting pushed around. Like, I would get frustrated too. And,
sure. I mean, and we saw what happened, especially in the AFC Championship game. We saw what happens when your emotions get the best of you. Like, that cost the Bengals the game, at least in my eyes. I mean, in my eyes, that's what happened, you know.
And we'll definitely talk about that.
But in regards to like Trent Williams, now did I find that shit funny as hell? Of course I did. I thought that was hilarious. But at the same time, let's pump the brakes because you look like a clown. I get the optics of it from an organizational standpoint, from a team standpoint. You're defending your guy. That's great. But to us, the viewer, no one's giving a shit about that. It's just that guy looks dumb. Like he looks dumb. Because look at the score. When you go back and watch that, the clip from the game, the score's right under it, dog.
Yeah.
31-7. You're getting creamed. And I get it. You're probably gassed because you're on the field the entire damn time. And Miles Sanders and Boston Scott are running all over your ass. But don't do that. It was a bit much. I get the sentiment though. I'm not mad at it. Frankly, like I said, I thought it was funny.
Can I point something out? I don't know why I've never invited you on the stream, but I absolutely need to have you back because if y'all don't know, I'll tell you something about Chris. I don't know if he wants me to say this, but Chris actually works in sports. I don't know. You didn't call games, right?
I would I used to. When I was my old job.
Yeah.
I
that's
did,
right. The baseball, right? Baseball.
I did baseball and I did football and basketball.
So see.
Yeah.
See,
I wasn't great at it, but I like doing it.
No, but you like talking, and that's what I love about you.
As you can tell,
you're amazing. Yeah. You're an amazing talker and amazing looker.
That's all we. Oh, stop it! That's all we do. That's all we do here at the crib. Like my buddy Tony, we watch the games together, and that's all we do is talk football. I feel like because that's the only thing the only sport that both of us watch.
What up, guy? Hope you're having a great day. He says, I just don't see the Eagles winning this. The AFC teams are just built are on a different level. Yeah.
Is this a good time to talk about the AFC Championship game?
I mean, we can get into it real quick.
Because that was the real big game, if we're being real with each other.
Everyone says the Eagles haven't played anyone. The Chiefs have not played a team like the Eagles. Look at it. Even when the Bengals had a bad offensive line, they still almost damn near got to the Super Bowl again. Like
here, because the Chiefs, like what the hell the guy was saying, right? The AFC teams, the AFC was by far the funner of the two and the most difficult of the two. Jeez, the AFC Championship games Exhibit A, it was 23-20. Like, and that was after the Chiefs defense was all over Joe Burrow the entire first half.
All over him like a white girl drunk at a bar. Like they were all over him. It
was out of hand. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is done. They're cooked. But at the same time, I kept watching because Jaguars Chargers from earlier this postseason showed me exactly why I can't stop watching in the middle of the damn game. But okay, so I just pulled up the Chiefs schedule, right? Obviously, Bengals, the Jaguars, they only lost by a score. They played like the Bengals a few times. They played the Bengals before. Chargers. Their division was rough. At least the top half was rough.
The division was not that great.
Like the Chargers still give them a run for their money. They got creamed by the Cardinals to open the season. Oh no, I lied. They creamed the Cardinals in opening the season.
Yeah, they lost to the Colts. Yeah, that was the big loss.
They lost to the Bills. Bengals lost. Like it was like their schedule also wasn't easy, but I think they faced tougher teams. And in the Eagles' case, the NFC East this year was nuts, right? It was nuts. Yeah. But we saw I always thought the Cowboys were frauds. I thought they were huge frauds. That Dak's not the answer. That team's not the answer. And I mean, we saw that in the Niners game what happened. But the Giants, especially, like the Giants looked great, and I was excited for the Giants. I thought they'd put up a fight against the Eagles, and
shout out to Ferris Matana.
Shout out to Ferris. Like his Giants, like I was rooting for them. I really was pulling for them, like because that would be fun. That's a fun story if the Giants pull this off with them declining the option on Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones needing to prove to not only himself but to the Giants why he needs to get paid. And he did that, even though they got creamed in the divisional round. He proved that why he's the guy for them and why he fits that team so well. But the Eagles just took their foot and shoved it up their ass. And the same thing for the Niners. But besides the point, the Chiefs, even with losing Tyreek Hill or trading away Tyreek Hill, right? Like you lose that,
which is crazy.
That big ass piece, right?
Yeah.
You trade him to the Dolphins, and everyone thinks the Dolphins are going to be good, but also they have quarterback troubles for different reasons. But your response to trading Tyreek Hill is picking up Juju Smith-Schuster and
Hey,
no
don't-
diss,
dissing
and Marquez
the
Valdez-Scantling, right? That's your answer. That's your answer. And then Valdez-Scantling has a killer game, making
Very
some
good game.
pivotal catches.
Big catches.
And he was, to me, like Patty Mahomes. Like that was what we expected. But
I think
Valdez-Scantling
Juju got hit. I think Juju got hurt in this game too. Also, I think he got hurt.
And like Travis Kelce, we're out here leaving Travis Kelce open in the end zone. Like the Bengals just had a hard time against the Chiefs for a majority of the first half. But yes, guy nailed it in the chat. It looks easy for the Chiefs to score. They make it look so simple.
Which is crazy that they had Tyreek Hill last year and got rid of him, and you're like, the Chiefs are going to decline, and then they're like, no, we're not. We're going to be this. And I had hoped, because I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan, that they were going to have troubles, and it didn't seem like it. Patrick Mahomes proved he's that guy. He's the next great.
Were we surprised?
Well, I wasn't surprised because I believed he was, because we'll let it be known. A lot of people, said he was not, a traditional quarterback, and he's proven the last couple of years, like, no, I don't have to run the ball. I can throw from the pocket and easily, and especially in this game, my buddy Hendo was talking about it. He said we sat there and watched him throw from the pocket with precise passing and make tough throws, on one leg. That's what he was able to do.
And Patrick Mahomes, this motherfucker will jump in the air, both feet off the ground, and throw like 50-yard passes, which I cannot fathom. I was talking about it again with my buddy Tony. Like we're sitting here, we're watching the Bengals Chiefs game, and I'm over here like, damn, I'm really watching somebody who is a generational talent. And guy nailed it. They lost their best receiver and they went to the Super Bowl the following season. It's almost as if they didn't need him, like he was a detriment to their squad.
Look, they've been to the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row. Now, I will say, Chiefs fans need to calm down. You're 1-3 versus the Bengals in the month of December and January. Like, slowly roll. You got it. You won this one. Important game. They're going to the Super Bowl.
But we also need to, before, and Travis Kelce nailed it right on the head, right? And Jeremy, the Eagles defense is better than the Bengals. Yes. Doc, for real. But also, the Eagles haven't played the Chiefs. Like they haven't played the team like the Chiefs.
They haven't played a team like. And I had tagged somebody in, and it was the craziest thing. Don't get me wrong, I like Jalen Hurts, but somebody was like, someone said today, "Oh, the Ravens fans wish Lamar Jackson was like Jalen Hurts."
Wait a minute.
What? Look, I am not the biggest Ravens fan, but
I love Lamar too.
Like Lamar Jackson, he carried the Ravens this year.
Yeah.
And he's carried them in years past.
He's almost carrying them too much. He's the reason why they win or lose every time.
And they haven't surrounded him with any talent.
You're right.
On offense. Mm-hmm. But not only that, who was the last unanimous MVP? Like unanimous. What, maybe Peyton, maybe? Might have been.
It's a good question. Let's find out.
So Lamar Jackson was unanimous. And he, I think he led the league in touchdowns when he won it. Come on. Don't get me wrong, Jalen's doing a great job this year. Happy for him, things like that. But you're like, if he goes out there and lays a dozen in the Super Bowl.
For the record, to answer your question, only two unanimous NFL MVPs, Lamar and Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady.
There's only two.
I gave it to Peyton. I thought
you're
Peyton
giving it to Peyton.
One. But apparently not. Apparently it's
It's only the GOAT and Lamar Jackson.
yeah. And so now we'll get into a little bit of what's going on with the Ravens. And shout out to the Chiefs. They're in the Super Bowl. I find it a little suspicious though. Andy Reid's old team, the Eagles. Yeah.
I don't want to. Okay, so let me.
This feels kind of marvelly.
Let's not get into the whole. I know this is a conspiracy pod, but I don't.
You know why it's called? You know why it's called a Steel Conspiracy?
For those who don't know, why is it called the Steel Conspiracy Podcast?
Do you know what a group of Ravens are?
It's no, I was gonna say is it a conspiracy?
Yeah.
I was gonna say a murder, but that's not ravens, crows. That's crows.
It's a conspiracy.
A conspiracy of ravens. That's what a group of ravens is called.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Shout out to Brodney for coming up with the name.
That is so rad. Okay. But no, like the Chiefs. No, okay, but the big question is, right? Because we can sit here and talk about we can see like we're gonna be talking about weeks of Eagles and Chiefs, right? Because obviously the 2-1 seeds, the two teams that got the buys through super wild card weekend, right? The two best teams in their respective conferences, they're gonna go and play in the Super Bowl, the Andy Reid Bowl, the Kelsey Bowl, the number 1 seed bowl, whatever you want to call it. Right,
the two African American quarterback.
The first Super Bowl with two starting black quarterbacks, which is insane. We got through how many of these? 52, like 53. What big game is this? Like that is insane. The fact that we had to wait so damn long for
there hasn't been many.
No, you're totally right.
I mean, there's been many, but there's been more failures than. Like, you got to remember, I think, up until Randall Cunningham was just Warren Moon. Maybe there's a couple other off my hand, but then you have Randall Cunningham, Doug Williams. And then it kind of, Cordell Stewart isn't a great, but he was known.
Right.
There wasn't those, you had then Michael Vick come in. Michael Vick, Madden Michael Vick was the shit.
Or 57. That's what we're on. We're on it. Big game 57. That's crazy.
Either Dante way, Culpepper was one.
Don't forget like Vince Young, dog.
Vince Young, you mean
that's later. But I know what you're saying. We didn't have too many options, right? But now we're finally getting a big game with two starting black quarterbacks, which is awesome. But again, going back to the Bengals for a second, what the hell do you do now?
You gotta get an offensive line because remember this core group is going to be around for a minute.
Remember, who you gotta pay Joe Burrow soon.
Well, you gotta pay Joe Burrow. The odd man out is T. Higgins. I think
there's a great football team in the Midwest,
Chicago,
that would love T. Higgins, who have the money to pay him. Why
you took our best receiver in Claypool?
Yo, and dog, the whole Chase Claypool. I don't want to talk about Chase Claypool. I think it's unfair the hate that Chase Claypool has gotten from Bears fans. I think it's really unfair.
Steelers fans loved him. Steelers fans didn't want him gone.
Yo, and I'm not.
He was going to want to get paid this year. And,
sure, but like he played like barely half a season for us, and folks are like, "Oh my god, we traded what pick for him?" We totally knew it was going to be a 2023 trade. This was not what the fuck were the Bears going to do with Chase Claypool in the bum ass season they just had? That's not what we're talking about. We're here to talk about.
No, we can talk about it. It's okay. It's okay. We can talk about it. It's a conspiracy.
It is. I know that the pick that the Bears traded now has turned into the 32nd pick because of, I believe, it's the Dolphins getting their pick disqualified. So
yeah, love it.
I'm not mad at that still. Ask me again around week 7 of next season. Ask me how I feel then about the Chase Claypool Bears trade, and I'll give you an honest answer. Because the dude never got acclimated in the Bears system, and him and Justin barely played together. You want to know a crazy ass fact, Suge? You want to know a crazy ass fact about Chase Claypool and the Chicago Bears? So Chase Claypool only played one game where him and Justin Fields both played 50% or more of the snaps. One game.
Oh, wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, He caught 5 of 6 targets, but it was the same game he hurt himself. It was the same game he messed up his knee. That's the only game him and Justin played together where they both played more than 50% of the snaps. That's just a look, a tease, a glimpse into what these two can do. Give them time together under hopefully a new offensive line, some more help for Justin, and Chase gets more acclimated in the Bears system. Then let's assess the Claypool trade. But for now, you're welcome for that first round pick. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You're always taking care of me.
We're out here. We're trying. But the Bengals, though, right? Because you got to pay Burrow soon. You're gonna have to pay Jamar soon. T. Higgins is the big question. Dude's gonna get Pizzade, and odds are it won't be Cincinnati.
I mean, unless he says, you know what, I'm in it for the team. You know,
Shut up.
Do that.
We need to. Do you think
you've gone to two AFC championship games in 2 years?
Do you think Joe or Jamar does that? Or they take pay cuts to keep the guys around?
I think Burrow would. I think what you need to do is get rid of Eli Apple. First off, he's been talking way too much.
That's what happens when you talk shit. You talk shit and you get clowned on social media.
He got murdered.
He got clowned.
Murdered. He got murdered on social media. I think Burrow would do it because he knows he's going to have a long career.
Oh man!
And he can get his money later down the line.
Sure.
Like he could get money now, but then get another big one down the line. Maybe Chase, because Chase seems like Jamar Chase seems like a team's kind of guy, but we don't know. You know, we'll see. But I know if Higgins is going to go somewhere else, 20, 30, 31 teams are going to be looking for him and trying to get him. Going back to the 49ers real quick.
Yes.
Talking about this, and it'll go into the Ravens. Ravens tag Lamar, and it's the exclusive tag, I believe. So I think he can't. No team can offer him anything, right? And they would get like picks for Lamar, I believe is what happened today. Let me just make sure.
Well, there was like compensation because this is news to me. The news about Lamar, because I'm so.
He got tagged today. He
got franchise tag.
He got franchise tag.
Wow.
And it's the exclusive franchise tag. But
interesting.
So that means I think the Ravens would, in order to trade him, would have to get first round picks to get him.
Interesting.
And Lamar's gonna get paid about $45 million. He said these are the official non-exclusive tag numbers for Lamar. This would be $32.416 million average quarterback. Yeah, so about.
Okay. So it's just being heavily speculated that he's going to get franchise tag.
I think they said they did franchise tag him.
A quick little Google search showed me that it's just heavily rumored that he's going to get franchise tagged. Which I mean, I'm not surprised by that.
I said if they franchise tag him, he's not playing for the Ravens.
And a guy from Newark, why don't you just pay him?
I think. Well, why won't the pick? Because the Ravens are not a known money spending team.
You just gave Roquan Smith $100 million
because they value defense. And I think guy might be from the Lunch Break Hot Take crew, and they preach this all the time on their show. They are willing to put money into defense, and they're not like people were saying, Chris. They were saying, why pay Lamar when he should take a amount and put that money into and then get like a receiver and stuff. Lamar Jackson's been on a rookie contract. Why didn't the past 2 years? Why haven't you put that money into getting a free agent wide receiver here already?
Who's their one right now?
Why? But why are you waiting now? Who's their one? Rashad Bateman.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's their one. Their two would be was homeboy that was from the Eagles, and then he's no longer in the league anymore because they cut him.
Who, Deshaun?
Deshaun Jackson was probably there too.
Oh my God!
You got Prochet.
That's why Tyler Huntley. That's why they're rushing it on the 2-yard line with Tyler Huntley, because who the hell else are going to give the ball to?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean they have Mark Andrews. You know.
Oh, okay. Look, I'm not gonna sit here because again, you're talking to the guy whose team traded Roquan over there, right? And for the sole reason is because we weren't gonna pay his goofy ass $100 million. And I shouldn't say goofy ass. We weren't going to pay him $100 million. The Bears were not going to do that. Obviously, if they wanted to, they would have kept him. He would still be playing for the Bears. And a franchise, the fan base, or I shouldn't say franchise, the fan base who loved him, and probably still loves him, and would have welcomed him back in open arms. But the second news came out that they signed him for exactly what he wanted, $20 million or $20 million a year for 5 years, $100 million for an off-ball linebacker in the NFL. You're going to give him the money he wants. Great. And he reps himself. That's awesome. I respect that. But it's also a team whose quarterback is like, oh, we're going to the playoffs? Great. No, I don't feel that good. My injury's a little worse than we thought it would be. If Lamar played in that Bengals game, the Ravens play the Chiefs in an AFC championship.
And the way that Mahomes was playing that game, they might win that game. Might.
Yo,
even with nobody on their offense, they might win that game. And going back to Guy's question, said why won't they just pay the man? Like Chris just said, they paid a defensive player, but they don't want to play an offensive player. Again, they had time to get receivers for Lamar, and they just never did.
Right.
And they had a chance to draft George Pickens. George Pickens could have been on the Ravens. And what he sorry, not George Pickens. Yeah, George Pickens. Yeah. What am I saying? I thought it was the same Pickens. George Pickens could have been on the Ravens. And what he did in the Steelers with an incompetent quarterback and a rookie quarterback with small hands. Imagine what he would have done with Lamar Jackson.
God, George Pickens was such a good pickup for you guys. I'm so jealous.
God,
I love him.
No,
Bears Goofy. Look, okay, let me say this now, Mr. J the Six. What's going on, dude? I was not anti trading Roquan. What I just didn't know, and I mean, frankly, Ryan Poles didn't know either, like what the deal is going to be with him. And obviously, they didn't see the $20 million in him. They would rather use that money elsewhere. And yeah, we found some other core pieces. Shout out to Jack Sanborn, but he's not Roquan Smith. You know, he filled in the place for now, the same position, the same linebacker position that Roquan did, and he was fine. But the Bears need a lot of help, and that $20 million that we would have spent on Roquan's going to go to other places. Hopefully, fingers crossed that trade don't bite us in the ass. So you can say the same thing for Robert Quinn, you know, like, and shout out to him. He's going to the Super Bowl. He's going to the big game. But
I hope the Ravens are messing this up. I think they are.
It's going to be
trading for and paying him before Lamar was a slap. And that's another thing too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. Like Lamar Jackson's in there. Like, and again, we're talking about it. This man won a unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
And you're not paying him?
That's what I'm saying. Like the Bears trading Roquan over there and them extending him first was very interesting. I have a feeling Derek Carson would go to the Ravens. Yo, that's interesting. That's interesting.
I see Lamar going to the Jets, the Falcons. Miami's a small possibility.
Those are the big.
I know Bronny. I don't know if he's in here, but Bronny really wants Lamar to go to the Panthers. Carolina would be a good landing spot. You know, I Mr. J's a Panthers fan, so I know he would love. Yo,
Lamar. Who wouldn't love Lamar? I think Lamar is still he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, right? I think Lamar.
He's a top three. He's a top three.
Top three?
I think he's just as good as.
That's high praise.
I think he's just as good as Mahomes. Like who's your top three? Do you think Lamar? Okay, do you take Lamar over Hurts?
Yeah.
Do you take Lamar over Josh Allen?
Oh God, that's where you got me.
And think about what Josh Allen has and what Lamar has. Do you take if you put Lamar on the Bills?
You think they're better? Lamar's and the Bills?
Absolutely. Look who Lamar's throwing to. Rashad Bateman.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Patrick Ricard. Okay, Mark Andrews, sure, Pro Bowler.
You're right. No.
Okay.
And
Are you taking Lamar Jackson over Burrow? It's kind of close.
No,
it's kind of close. It's kind of close. You're not taking him. You're probably putting. You're not the person. You're not taking him over is Patrick Mahomes. Are you taking Lamar Jackson over Dak Prescott?
Oh, in a heartbeat. That's not even a question.
So he's literally top 3.
Your
question mark is Burrow and
we can talk top 5. I said top 10 to cover my ass.
I mean, who else would you put? You can't put Brock Purdy. You can't put Tom Brady.
Oh, what the fuck? No,
Aaron Rodgers.
No. After
Deshaun Watson
before this season, that would have been a nice conversation.
Yeah, maybe.
But this season, no.
Mr. J Pro Bowl Huntley is on the roster.
He's only on the Pro Bowl roster because fucking Josh Allen's going golfing that weekend.
Jeremy Lee was talking about. Did you like the Claypool trade?
I don't love it, but I like it. Yeah. Yo, again, that trade wasn't for this season. It was for next season. So let's reassess that trade around week 8, and then we'll talk about it. See how bad or how good it was. Because who knows? The Steelers might get a crazy ass player at 32, and that team might get better. So who knows? Yeah. But to answer Mr. J's question, right? Who on the roster needs to get paid? The motherfuckers that I'm talking about that need to get paid are the folks who aren't even on the team yet. You know, like Claypool might get extended depending on how well he plays. Velus Jones, let's not talk about Velus Jones Jr., please, for the love of God. For my mental health, let's not talk about Velus Jones. Jalen Johnson, yes, he might get extended. Cole Kmet might end up getting extended because Cole Kmet was a top 5 scoring tight end in the NFL this season, which is crazy as hell to say out loud. Darnell Mooney is probably going to get extended too. You know, these core pieces of the franchise, regardless of what you think or how good you think they are, they're probably going to stick around for the sake of morale and the future of this team. But the offseason, I think a lot of free agents is where that money's going to go. And obviously the motherfuckers that you pick up in the draft. But the Bears have, I think, the most cap space in the NFL, especially with the ever-growing cap, salary cap that's, I think, just got announced recently. Like, it just grew like to almost $20 million. So there's a lot of money that already isn't on the squad that can go places. But we'll reassess this in a few months. Ask me in July how I feel about the Bears offseason. And then maybe Mr. J, I'll start crying about it. But for now, I feel good. I feel confident. But Roquan, don't get me wrong. I wanted Roquan to stay, but it wasn't going to work out.
I'm not worried about Lamar going to the Falcons because they can't even use Pitts London correctly.
God, what the hell happened to Kyle Pitts this year? What the hell? I had him on fantasy, and dude was putting up goose eggs every week.
Marcus Mariota, Vince Young 2.0.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder wasn't it either.
well, he's about to be on Jacksonville, and that Jacksonville team is going to look scary. As long as we keep him away from DraftKings, Ridder will be okay. Okay.
No, you're talking about what's his name?
Ridley.
Yeah, you're talking about Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
Yo, yeah, he is gonna be on Jacksonville next year, ain't he? That's gonna be fun.
With Trevor Lawrence, with that team,
the Jaguars gonna be the AFC South might be theirs for the foreseeable future, depending on what the Colts got going on.
It's not about if they use the receivers correctly. It's about what the Falcons can offer. Falcons
can
offer first round picks for Lamar.
Totally.
That's why I was bringing up the 49ers. Do you offer Trey Lance and some picks for Lamar Jackson? Could you imagine Lamar Jackson on the 49ers with
dog?
CMC,
don't even say that.
Debo.
You're playing Madden. You're playing Madden, dog. That would be so much fun to watch.
That team would be so much fun. Big Reg and all them who are Ravens fans can tell you this. Ravens love picks.
Yo, but what do the Niners have to offer at this point?
I mean, they can offer Trey Lance and some picks.
Oh, but I don't know what their pick situation is like, especially like what you said after the Trey Lance thing. Yeah. I don't know what they got. They traded McCaffrey for McCaffrey to send picks over to Carolina. So like I don't know what the deal is.
That was a great pickup for them.
Yes, it was. For both McCaffrey and the Niners. That was best case scenario.
And going back to what we were talking about, like, yeah, you got to remember this too. Joe Burrow has a squad. Like he has a
okay.
Squad.
How I'm assessing the question that you asked, not like them swapping teams, what would happen. It's just like what QB would I take? Because obviously, if you put Lamar on the Bengals, you put Lamar on the Niners, you give Lamar a better offense. Oh my God! Of course he's going to succeed. We've seen him succeed before. We know what that looks like.
But if you don't trade him, if you just step back and look at and compare them, you have to take in consideration their squad. And Lamar, like you asked me, who does Lamar have? And then you name who Joe Burrow has, and yet Lamar can kind of keep up with Joe Burrow with that.
I mean, a lot of teams would succeed if they had what Joe Burrow had, what Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance had. You know, like a lot of folks would succeed. That's going back to the Niner conversations, why I think it's unfair to eliminate Purdy from the whole quarterback situation, because a lot of guys would succeed with that team, but he fit what they were doing. I mean, he was already in the QB room, and he just fit, and he was playing very well. It wasn't just he wasn't getting carried by these guys. He was performing awfully well. They put Lamar on that team. It's unfair. I think again that team's
you're playing
Madden, but you put Lamar in a bunch of different situations, and he's going to do well. But that's why I think the Ravens are fumbling the bag, literally. Like, dude. And you mentioned Deshaun earlier. Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns single-handedly ruined the quarterback market. Single-handedly. Not only because Deshaun got guaranteed money, but the Browns let it. They gave it to him. They gave him entire contract guaranteed regardless of what happens. And if we're all being honest, dude looked incredibly mid in the few games we've got to see of him.
Yeah.
Very mid.
And I don't think they're going to get any better. Shout out to Matt Thomas. I don't think.
Yeah, shout out to the boy. But I mean, we'll see a full season of Deshaun Watson, and then I guess we can assess the situation.
And just keep him away from the massage parlors. We'll see what happens.
Get his ass.
Real quick. I gotta stop the show for my man. Real quick. Hold up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Shout out to OTR Mike. What's going on, OTR Mike?
I love that.
Let me tell you something. Actually, Mike, Bronny, if you are in here, you got to get a weekend that Chris is free to talk movies, because we talked.
I love that.
No, I really had a great weekend this weekend. Me, Bronny, and Mike, we talked Ali with Will Smith.
Oh, Ali. Okay.
Yeah. And we did because we're doing boxing review movies, reviewing boxing movies.
Yeah,
so we did Ali, and I am a big Ali fan. That movie Ali, when you watch it, you would have thought I just watched the movie. I haven't watched that movie in like years, but I know it so well, and it was awesome. And Mike and Bronny know boxing like the back of their hand. I know some boxing. It was the best time I've had. Talking about a movie, talking about a figure in Ali that I love, talking about Joe Frazier, who I have now love Joe Frazier so much now. So it was real awesome. But if you want to talk to somebody who knows movies better than me, talk to this man.
Oh, you're too good to me, man.
Just don't put him on a game show, because he gets real irritated with me.
I haven't seen too many boxing movies. But if you give me a movie to watch, I'll happily watch it with y'all. Happily. Just give me a heads up.
It was a great time. Had a great time. But going back to Going back to going back to Lamar. Like, yeah, Lamar was an unanimous MVP, led the league in passing touchdowns, and nobody knows who he's throwing to.
That's also incredibly valid.
You got to say that he's a top three. The money these NFL teams are playing with is nothing compared to the NBA and soccer. Soccer, yes, soccer is crazy.
Yeah, what they're paying dudes at the football clubs overseas are crazy.
Who just got a 12-year deal?
Who in
in
baseball? Who didn't? Oh my God!
Who
Trey
just got it this
Turner.
year?
Trey Turner got a crazy deal with the Phillies.
Trey Turner. Yeah, Trey Turner got it.
Xander Bogaerts got 11 years with San Diego. Who the hell was it? Correa got 3 different double digit year contracts.
Correa can't find a doctor to clear him.
He had to go back to Minneapolis for them to clear him, which is,
They were like,
which
all
is
right.
crazy. God, I can't believe that.
MLB contracts are insane. So many players are getting.
Just wait till next season when we're talking about Shohei Ohtani. Just wait. If you think now it's out of hand, wait till he gets $500 million. Just wait.
From the Dodgers.
Oh, I will die. I'll drop dead.
What if the Cubs did that? They're like 500 for Shohei Ohtani.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Because you're a Cubs fan, not a White Sox fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I'm a Cubs fan until the day I die.
Okay.
But if I see the Dodgers or the Padres get Shohei Ohtani, I will probably burst into flames. Like I will be the saddest boy in the Chicagoland area. I promise you. I promise you. I'll be so bummed out. But yes, baseball money is out of hand.
Yeah, and when Mahomes signed this deal, people were like, "They're crazy. Why are they?" Been in 5 AFC Championship games, going to the Super Bowl, third time.
They were showing stats for how many passing touchdowns a quarterback has had in a championship game, in a conference championship game. The only dude ahead of Mahomes is Brady, and Brady did it like Brady had 14 conference games. Mahomes had 5. He's had 5. Dude's gonna be breaking hella records, and he's gonna be the guy. Shit, he's already a Hall of Famer.
If he wins the Super Bowl, it's him and Brady.
And the crazy part is like this dude's nowhere near done. He's
literally not even in his prime. He's literally not. In his
he hasn't
prime.
peaked. He's just dude played on one leg. He played on with 1.5 feet on Sunday,
and it was noticeable.
Yes, he was limping. He was getting up and
limping. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
damn. What's his name? Chris Asai. He tried to kill him when the game ended. Like he tried to do the Eagles a favor and shove the shit out of Patrick Mahomes.
Well, let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. About that. And Mr. J, we'll get into your.
We're talking about Prince Fielder. I love Prince Fielder, but go ahead.
Let's talk about that. So the controversy in this game was a couple things. There was the intentional grounding. There was the redo play. When the ref was trying to come in to stop the game. But
yeah, that was weird.
Heard it.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing was Mahomes. They're at like below the 50 on their side. He runs for a first down, and there was only 8 seconds left, so they maybe could have ran one more play. But the defender pushes Mahomes out. He has 1 foot out. He pushes him. Mahomes goes down. They throw the flag. Ends up being a 45-yard field goal, giving him a 15-yard unsportsmanlike contact, 45-yard field goal, and KC's kicker drills it. Did you like the call? Did you not like the call? Were there other calls in the game that you had problems with? Anything like that? Or were you just like, hey, you got to call that? Because I know this as a Pittsburgh fan. We had played KC in I think it was the divisional round before we went to the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And they called a holding on KC. And all KC fans talked about was the ref should not be deciding the game. They shouldn't be throwing a flag.
That's literally every NFL fan base.
And then now this happens for KC.
Right.
Like, if it's an obvious call, you have to throw the flag. I've always said that. Even if it goes against it. That was an obvious call on Mahomes. He was out of bounds. He was going out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need to shove him. What did you think about it?
So, right, like you mentioned a few different things. The intentional grounding thing, the Chiefs defensive line, like every time they rushed Burrow, he either just straight up took the sack or just threw the ball away, like instinctively. He'd even like try to ponder. He was willingly taking sacks. He didn't have to, but he was, because like what the hell else is he going to do? He already had 2 picks in the game. The intentional grounding thing, there was no receiver around. I get that. I wasn't mad at that when I saw it. The weird thing was like the ref tried waving off the play, but like whatever. I guess they explained that well enough. I wasn't overthinking
The
it.
video looks very weird because you see the ref come in, do this, and then he
Right.
stops and backs up. That's
Right.
weird.
Like he let the play go on, like
Yeah.
knowing that he was gonna take it back, whatever. But okay. The Chris Asai, and I think his name's Chris Asai, right?
I believe so.
I don't want to just give him I know his last name's Asai, but this rookie that who was having a hell of a game leading up to that. And you said it, Mahomes had 1 foot out of bounds. Dude had both feet on the
Was it both
white,
feet?
on the sideline, and on the white. And Chris Asai went ahead and still shoved him anyway. And Chris Asai got the worst of it before the flag, before they even called the unnecessary roughness personal foul, right? Dude went right into a dude who went right into the bench, right? And his knee was hurting, whatever. They call the 15-yard penalty. They move it all up. They don't even hesitate. So if Mahomes doesn't get hit,
Joseph Asai.
Joseph Asai, thank you. I gave him my first name because I think what's it called? I want him to be just like me. That's how I would have reacted. I would have pushed him too. But the thing that I'm thrown by is you see him running out of bounds, and you say you let him go. It's still like a 50+ yard field goal that Harrison Butker has to kick.
I think it's a 60. I think it's about 59 to 60.
They still need more yards for Harrison Butker at the end of the day, right? So unless you like, I going back to the Trent Williams conversation, your emotions get the best of you. Conference championship game, you want to stop Mahomes, who is the guy in the NFL. I get it, but if you just let him go out, you get back on the field. Yeah, this stops time, but you have a chance at a stop or a turnover. But
and there's only 8 seconds left.
That 15, right? Like say they just go for a run or they try to go out of bounds again, and you risk overtime, and then we get to see those new fun overtime rules for playoff games, right? But now you get the personal foul and you move them up 15 yards for the guarantee. You knew Harrison Butker was going to make that kick. You knew it. Like that was the worst kept secret. The second that the flag went up, it's like, damn, that's game. That's it. So I was heartbroken for him. Not because, oh my God, he got the flag. No, dude deserved the flag. Because in this NFL, you cannot even touch the quarterback anymore. And there were a few sus calls of them not throwing flags for some unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, all this bullshit. Earlier, I think, like there was a bunch of stuff for Burrow and even stuff for Mahomes, right? But dude's out of bounds already. Leave him be and risk it instead of the guaranteed 15 yards to cinch the game for you. I felt bad for the guy, but also the flag was warranted. Like whoever, what was the game? The game was on CBS. So they kept putting the camera on him. Dude's crying on the bench. His entire team's already in the locker room. This dude is sobbing. Helmet over his face. You can't see his eyes. Like it was a sad ass scene, but at the end of the day, it was very, pun intended, unnecessary. You didn't have to do that. And honestly, risk it and let them do one more play and see what happens. I don't remember if there were any timeouts left.
I think it was 8 seconds left with possibly Casey having one timeout.
Right. I don't remember the exact, like the specifics of everything, or at least of the timeout situation, but damn, that cinched it. The second the flag was thrown, you knew what was happening because Mahomes got launched. And if he flopped, then that was a hell of a job. But either way, you can't touch the quarterback when they go out of bounds. You know you can't.
Yeah.
Not in this NFL, you can't do that.
Yeah, and especially that close to the boundary, like he should have just.
He's out of bounds already. Both feet had touched the white. He's out of bounds. Like, and you're being nice, saying, "Oh, 1 foot was out." No, dude, both were out. He was obviously out of bounds, and maybe again, he had an ulterior motive. He's trying to hurt Mahomes before the big game, against the Eagles.
Just go for it. Screw trying to hide it. Just lock at his knee.
I was jokingly saying like every time Mahomes like got hit or something that you just like
Joseph
Asai.
Joseph Asai says, "Geez, I thought he was still in bounds."
Sorry, dog. I'm sorry. We were watching the game, dude. The replay showed it. But thanks for the money though.
Yeah,
thanks
appreciate it.
But I kept joking throughout the game. I'm like, damn, if I'm the Bengals, every time I get Mahomes on the ground, I'm grabbing his ankle and just punching it. Like,
hey, just doing some WWE stuff. Just
right. You're so you got to target the ankle. Like,
you take some grass and just throw it in his eye.
Like anything to stop Mahomes. He was on 1 foot the whole game. He threw over 300 yards.
Should have just Kurt angled him.
Yeah, put him in an ankle lock. Take the flag to disqualificate take the disqualification from the game. Leave. Have somebody take the fall for it. But just put him in the ankle lock.
You're definitely probably getting thrown out of the league. But
you're getting banned from the NFL. It's like Bountygate all over again, but explicit on the field.
So speaking of, and we'll right before we start talking about the Royal Rumble, but I told Cal we were only going to go to an hour, and we're at an hour. But
no, it's fine. Let's go.
This is for Cal, particular breaking. You're gonna have to say this name.
Kota Ibushi is leaving New Japan? No way.
Where's he going, Cal?
No, he's not.
Where is he going, Cal?
What? No way. Let me see this. Oh my god. Wow.
Where's he going?
Well, everyone's gonna be throwing money at him. So okay, Alan, is this the part where we start talking about wrestling?
I mean, we can. We'll just tap a bow before we get into wrestling.
Let's finish the football, then we can talk about wrestling.
So real quick, who do you got in the Super Bowl?
Oh. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a very good game. My heart says Philly. I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts. My brain and sense and knowledge. The Chiefs are probably going to be my official pick, and I hate that I'm saying that. I reserve the right to change my mind up until February 12th at like 5:30 whenever the game starts Central Time. But Mahomes says KC. I don't want KC to win, but I think KC's going to win.
What?
Who the hell? And I love the whole narrative of the NFL's rigged. I love that whole. I'm not with it. You'll never hear me tweeting or saying like, "Oh, the NFL's rigged." No, it's not. Because if it was, then it would be Chiefs Cowboys every year. But obviously not. It's not the case. But Bingy, who you got? I think she said. I think she also says Chiefs. Unfortunately. But I'm rooting for the Eagles though. But I told myself the winner of the Super Bowl is going to come out of the AFC, and the Chiefs came out.
The Chiefs, and now you're like, damn it.
I said that months ago. I'm like, the winner of whoever comes out of the AFC. But damn it.
Not rooting for the Eagles entirely, but I do want to see Hurts, Reddick, and Bradbury get a ring.
I'm a big Hurts guy. I was a Hurts guy when Carson Wentz was the primary over there. I'm like, give Hurts a shot.
Poor Carson Wentz. He gets hurt. His backup wins the Super Bowl, and then he gets traded. He's never been the same since.
Dog.
And now they are going back to the Super Bowl. Poor Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is just like, god damn it. I think the Eagles are the favorite. I think, the Chiefs are going in as the underdogs, which I cannot believe.
And they need these 2 weeks off. Yeah, Mahomes needs to get better.
Yeah, I think just to make it fair, we should make Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes wrestle each other just so they both go in equally hurt, and then we play the game. Just so it's fair.
With chair shots that are no longer allowed.
Yes,
in WWE.
we do a no holds barred, unsanctioned match with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, and whoever wins that, which will probably end up being a no contest, the first ever no contest, unsanctioned, Carson Wentz. Yo, who's trolling? In
Carson Wentz just says,
Who's-
I'm just not a good teammate, and no one likes me.
who's trolling? Thank you for the tip, Carson
That's really
Wentz.
that's really Carson Wentz. George Pickens shows up on Lunch Break Hot Take, and Kenny Pickett shows up there all the time.
Shout out to Kenny Pickett. I like Kenny Pickett for y'all. I prefer
do.
Justin Fields so much more, but Kenny Pickett, he worked out for y'all.
Hey, don't hate on Mittens, okay?
Yo, I'm out here. I'm with Justin. And one quick thing in case anyone's wondering, the Bears are totally not going to trade Justin Fields. That's not happening. Whatever the discourse is.
If Ravens said they'll give you Lamar Jackson,
what kind of question is that? Of course I would. if I knew I was getting Lamar in return, are you kidding me? Justin Fields right now can be Lamar Jackson. He can't. He's not at the moment. He's not. But he could. We need to work on that arm. But dude can run. If dude played the whole season, if he played every snap, he broke Lamar's record. But we sat him. Smartly, we sat him for the one game. But I see you, Lamar. I'm curious what happens with Lamar Jackson.
a lot of eyes are going to be on that. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. All right. Now, I'm excited for this because I have not talked wrestling with you in so long. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And the aftermath. And we're not going to talk about all the matches. Child short digits. That's AKA Kenny Pickett.
Oh my God. Come on.
Thank you.
Who's trolling? No, don't.
I know who it is, but it's okay because I do the same to them. And they
don't troll. That's not cool.
I haven't talked wrestling with you in God knows how long. And we're not going to talk about all the matches. Like we're not going to talk about.
Let's talk about just the Rumble matches themselves.
Yeah, we're just going to talk. Well, we got to talk about that Universal title match.
Oh shit! Crazy. Yeah, we do.
That shit was crazy.
That shit was crazy.
But we'll start off with a lot of people were like, "Why is the men's Royal Rumble going first?" Well, because you have a title match later that night. And so I'll say this. There are a lot of WWE fans who bitch and complain about how WWE always goes to the old timers, or they bring back legacy characters.
Yep.
And it's always an issue.
Yep.
This is the 1 year they brought one legacy character back in Booker. And that is it. They let a guy start at number 1 and finish that whole damn match.
Yep.
They brought in all their talent. They brought a lot of their talent. Now they didn't bring NXT talent.
None, at least in the men's match. None in the men's
match. They didn't bring any NXT talent, but they allowed all their talent, men's talent, to be in that thing. Other than Logan Paul, so you had Logan Paul, and Logan Paul, I guess. Yeah. Hey, that Ricochet spot was kind of dope.
No, it was cool. I popped.
But a lot of what's funny. So people were like, I've never seen that. And they're like, no, CM Punk and Kofi did that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So
shit, Ricochet and Carmelo Hayes did it in NXT last year. So
it's been done.
It's been done.
But because who it was, a lot of people were.
I think Logan Paul and Ricochet did it the best by far.
They got air.
Yeah,
and you heard the impact.
The impact. That shit hurt.
But I just want to get your overall thoughts because we both had talked about this. We knew Cody was coming back. We knew Cody was going to win it.
They announced them. Yeah,
it wasn't much of a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall match told a lot of good stories. It set up a lot of good future storylines up, and it really put a lot of people over. I like Gunter. I think he got put over. Gunther. I think he got put over really well.
1,000%.
I thought a lot what Seth got put over well.
Yeah.
I think Logan Paul got put over well.
Totally.
I think Dominic, even though his character is real funny when he's talking about being in jail, it's kind of hilarious, but he's starting to catch some heat now. People are starting to.
He had an underrated performance,
especially what he did to Ray. Now I saw everyone bitching about that with Rey Mysterio, like, well, why didn't they replace him? And Well, that's the
Yeah.
storyline. He took his dad out.
They're gonna wrestle each other at WrestleMania. Like it's gonna be
Oh,
cool.
for sure. So, just give me your overall thoughts on the men's WrestleMania.
On the men's Royal Rumble match, I liked it a lot. I don't know if I can say I love it. Maybe I will over time, but when I watched it, especially coming off of the stinker that was last year's Rumble sucked. It sucked. And like the Rumble's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. It's my favorite show. It's my favorite match type. It makes me so happy. I love that match. And like what you said, there were some great performances. Shout out to, like you said, Gunther going from 1 all the way to the final 2 and putting on a hell of a showing. Hell of a showing. That's a star-making showing. For those who don't know who Gunther, formerly known as Walter, is or was, now you know. He ain't here to play around, right? Sheamus also went a very long time. Shout out to Sheamus. You said Dominic Mysterio. Underrated performance in the Rumble. Seth Rollins looked good. Logan Paul begrudgingly looked good. I'm not a big fan of Logan Paul. Period. I'm not a big fan of Logan Paul in the E, but he performs. He performs. He brings it, and I like that. I'm glad. I feel like now I'm one of those like wrestling purists where I'm like, if you don't respect it, why are you here? Obviously, he respects it, and he does really well at it. He's very good at what he's doing. Shout out to Edge. We got to see Edge come back, and yeah, he didn't last long, but we're out here advancing the storyline with the Judgment Day.
So that was another legacy character they brought back, sure.
Yeah. But the real story of this is Cody Rhodes. And it ain't close, right? Like Cody Rhodes, to me, it was no secret that he was in it. It was obviously they announced it, but folks are shitty that they announced his entry. I thought the Rumble made the most sense for him to come back anyway. Yeah. And my one problem, if I have a problem with it, is why bring him out at 30? You know he's coming, right? And I honestly, I thought Seth and Cody were going to start at 1 and 2. I was convinced. If you had asked me,
I don't think they're going to let him go that long.
If you had asked me, I mean, apparently from the interview that he did with who was it? Ariel Helwani, I think it was, with BT Sport. I think he had said he got cleared that morning. He got cleared to wrestle that day. They announced him weeks in advance, but he didn't get cleared to wrestle until that day, until this past Saturday with the Rumble. Imagine if he didn't get cleared. Then what do you do?
I think Sammy goes in.
Well, because we'll talk about
because that makes the ending story way more interesting.
It does make it a ton more interesting, but the risk you run into now, and we'll get into it more when we talk about the actual main event, is how the hell do you book Cody Rhodes in the next 2 months? Right,
that's why I think they did with Monday Night Raw. You have him feud. I thought he was going to feud with Seth Rollins so what I said was you have him win the Rumble. You now have Sammy and Roman feuding. You have Cody and Seth feud up until what's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania?
Elimination Chamber is the next one.
Well, Elimination, but then there's one more before WrestleMania, right?
Is it? Because we're doing. It's Elimination Chamber.
I know Hunter's gotten rid of a lot of the pay-per-view.
I'm gonna look it up. I don't think there's a pay-per-view in March.
Okay, so if it's up to Elimination Chamber, you can have him feud. I said with Seth until about a month before Mania. And then they end their feud at the pay-per-view before Mania, and then that's when you start booking Cody versus Roman, because now you have the clear path of what's going to happen. Is Roman going to wrestle 2 nights? Because we know the one championship Cody wants. He wants the WWE championship.
He wants the WWE championship.
He wants the WWE.
Right.
So now are you booking Roman 2 nights in a row? What are you doing? And I think Big Reg was absolutely right. You bring him out at 30 so fans don't get disappointed that Sami Zayn wasn't at 30.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, but now what I think you're going to do is you're going to feud Cody with the Judgment Day, and particularly
to kill time,
but particularly Dominic, to put him over, because now Rhea's going to you're gonna have to give something for Rhea. I think they might drop the belt to Rhea from.
She announced. What's today's Tuesday?
I think Bianca Belair is she's gonna win the belt from Bianca Belair.
Well, they announced she's okay.
challenging Flair.
Yes, she's challenging Charlotte.
Flair,
yes,
but I think she's gonna win the belt from Bianca, and Flair and her are gonna go at it to make that an undisputed title.
Okay. Now we're jumping way ahead.
But we'll talk about the
because I do not like anything you're saying right now.
Okay, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
But Cody Rhodes, right? Like,
but I think Ripley's going to be busy with that, and I think now you feud Judgment Day with Cody, so you either have Randy come back because Riddle's out for right now, right?
Yeah.
So you have Randy, Edge, and Cody versus the Judgment Day, and then you put more Cody and Dominic. Because now you're trying to raise Dominic's stake, and you talk about because if you think about it, other than Edge, Randy's second year generation, so is Cody, and then Dominic's second year, and you're using that as fuel, like who's the better second year and things like that.
Sure,
and you feud it that way.
I'm very fascinated by how you book Cody, especially where you have a pay-per-view, so you still have Elimination Chamber, which he will not be a part of the U.S. title Elimination Chamber, at least from my understanding. Because why would you? He already called out Roman on Raw last night, saying like he will not leave the WWE Undisputed Champion. But I was taken aback because now with the Sammy Bloodline stuff blowing up and them imploding and now it being a whole thing, what's Cody's role in this, and how I'm trying to avoid what happened to Batista in 2014, where Batista comes back, I'm going to win the Rumble. He wins the Rumble, and then immediately the fans turn on Batista. Immediately. Yeah. Granted, now, that was almost 10 years ago, and I think the crowds are different now. And the crowds are obviously behind Cody Rhodes, right? Like Cody is the guy, or is one of the guys right now. But I am terrified because a lot can happen in 2 months. WrestleMania is April 1st and 2nd. We have 2 months to kill before now and when Cody and Reigns wrestle. But I am so nervous. All it takes is one bad decision, and then WWE immediately regrets what happened. But in my perfect world, in my little headcanon, and what I want, Zayn Reigns. Night 1, Reigns, Rhodes, part 2 on day 2.
I reverse it because I don't think you want to take away the legitimacy of Cody winning.
I don't think you do, because like you go into say Zayn wins night 1, hypothetically in my hypothetical, right? Zayn wins night 1. Imagine a battered and distraught Roman Reigns. He's desperate to cling on to one of the 2 belts he's been holding. And after he's pissed off, he's shitty, right? And he goes into this match with Rhodes because he's been having to deal with Sammy and the Bloodline. And now Cody Rhodes in the back of his brain, who came from, I thought you were all elite, Cody. And now he comes over back to WWE. And I think you can still find a way to do both, but they're not going to do both. At least in my brain, I think Big Reg nails it in the chat. They're going to do Sammy Roman at Elimination Chamber for the title. Sammy loses. And then because the Bloodline's going to get involved. But then you do Usos, Sammy, Kevin at Mania. I think that's what's going to happen.
But what's going on with Jay now?
I think that's bullshit. I think Jay is going to inevitably fold back into the Bloodline. And it probably will be at Elimination Chamber. Where, say, for example, it's Reigns and Zayn, and Jay's in Sammy's corner and everybody else is in Reigns' corner, and then Jay betrays Sammy.
And then Kevin comes out.
And I don't think in a perfect world, we do not see Kevin Owens until Elimination Chamber. Imagine Elimination Chamber is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Guess where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are from? Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Zayn gets pop of the decade in Montreal when he faces Reigns. He's gonna lose because I think Jay's gonna betray him. You have them beat the shit out of Sammy, and then you hear dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Montreal, the arena that they're in will flip over because of how loud the building's gonna get. And then Owen's gonna go and clear house, Usos, Canadians at WrestleMania. That makes sense. And then Reigns can deal with Cody Rhodes. But with what the hell is happening with Cody, I'm concerned. I shouldn't say concerned. I'm nervous because again, all I can take is one bad decision.
Yeah.
But I think that the whole Jey Uso thing, he's gonna conform back to the bloodline. It's just a matter of how. But I don't want to jump ahead to the main event because the Rumble itself, Jeremy, you mentioned it earlier. Brock, I was terrified when Brock got announced for the Rumble. It was the night before. I was so pissed off because I'm like, oh, here we go. Brock's gonna kill somebody. He's gonna kill everybody. He only ended up murdering Kofi Kingston. I think it was him with Kofi. I think so. I don't remember.
And then Kofi botched his save
for the second year in a row. He messed it up. I think we should wrap it up. I think we're good now. We messed up 2 in a row.
Retire it. Yeah, retire it.
Plus, he hit the announce table hard. Like he hit it hard, and then Santos Escobar, his back hit the apron so damn hard you heard the crack of his body hitting the apron. It was gross, and that was from the Brock Lesnar elimination. But Lashley getting one on Lesnar, that was great. Lesnar freaking out, that was great. But Gunther and Rhodes, those are the two stories. Because Gunther didn't need to win the Rumble. He already has the IC belt. He'll probably have the IC belt for a while longer. My guess, he's going to break the record of longest IC title reign. And honestly,
Sean have it or
is it Honky Tonk Man?
Is it Honky Tonk Man?
I want to say it's a Honky Tonk Man. I might be wrong, but Gunther, holy shit, great, right? Love that. The men's rumble was a lot of fun, and wrestling Twitter, guys, calm down. I think
right. Honky Tonk Man. Jericho holds the most range, which is 9. Honky Tonk Man holds the longest range, which is 454 days. Only 3 other wrestlers have held the championship continuous reign for more than a year. That's Pedro Morales, Morocco, and Savage.
Wow, that's good company. That's Hall of Fame company.
But Savage was IC.
Yeah, shout out to Macho Man.
Because I always think of like Razor. I think of
sure.
Remember Brett versus Mr. Perfect? Like,
there was this it was on Wrestle Reel, the old wrestling podcast I used to do. Me and my buddy Nick Molbach, we did our top IC champs of all time, and like mentioned guys like Savage and Warrior, Brett, Mr. Perfect. Shout out to The Miz, who I think has 8 IC title reigns, and he does a pretty good job when he holds the belt. But Gunther is the talk of the town. Him and Cody. And by the way, because I do want to talk about the women for a second, but the last 2 guys, Rhodes and Gunther, and the little baby match that they had at the end of the Rumble, like it wasn't like a quick elimination like how the women's was, where it was like the final 3 and then elimination. Those 2 guys went at each other. Gunther made Rhodes earn it, and that's what made me feel better about the number 30 spot. Like, because Rhodes came in hot, fresh, but Gunther had been in that shit for over an hour at that point.
And he was like going with everybody. He was going at Sheamus. He was going at
Lesnar. Like, he was in a piece of everyone, chopping the frick out of people. And Rhodes comes in, and they have a little mini match, and it rocks. I hopefully in the future we get to see Gunther versus Rhodes. Give them 25 minutes and let them burn it down.
And what's funny is Cody Rhodes mentioned that he made fun of him when he was at AEW.
Yeah, there's the promo where he made fun of the name change.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny and ironic that it's him in the last spot. What did you think about having Logan eliminate Seth? Do you have a problem with that?
That's WrestleMania, baby.
That's a WrestleMania?
I think it's what that That's what that meant. That's how I read it. When I saw the elimination, Paul Rollins was the first thing that came to my brain. I think that match would bang if that's how they're going to do it. That'd be a lot of fun for them
And
to
you
do.
give Paul time to like kind of season his craft and try so they can put on a good match. Because I don't know if you can top Rollins Rhodes. That was a great. I go back and watch that match, that WrestleMania match. That's a great freaking match.
Oh yeah, no, that one. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the build to it, we all knew Rhodes was coming, and that's what made it. That's what made the Rumble also palatable at WrestleMania last year. We all knew it was going to be Cody Rhodes. All of us knew, and he still came out. We all still lost our shit, and the match was very, very good. Very good. It was my favorite match of last year, or of last WrestleMania. Shout out to Owens and Austin too, but I love what Cody's been doing in WWE so far. The whole pec thing, how they played into the whole, the injured pec, the torn pec, they played into it. And they even played into it on Raw last night when he was wrestling Finn Balor. But Cody is over as Rover right now. So all the marks I saw on wrestling Twitter that were like, oh my God, Cody's going to get booed when he wins the Rumble. Are you kidding me? Cody Rhodes is white hot right now. Like, folks miss Cody. They wanted to see him.
Yeah. The only thing hotter than Cody is Sammy.
Yes, it's Sammy and the Bloodline. But at the same time, the entire time Cody was out, the Bloodline was there, right? Imagine if Cody had 7 months of dream matches and of great story, especially since Triple H took over. Like, Cody missed all of that, all of it. And now he's back. And just look at the poster. For those who haven't seen the WrestleMania poster with Reigns and Rhodes, that looks like a main event. With no context, those two guys on the poster together, holy shit. That's night 2 main event, regardless of what happens. And don't get me wrong, I know folks are going to want Sammy there. Shit, in a perfect world, I want Sammy there too. But Rhodes Reigns is the way to go. It is. And Sammy's still going to get his. Like, the whole story has been Sammy and Kevin. Kevin's there too. It's not just Sammy. Kevin's the reason Sammy turned. At least, inevitably, when we get the Sami Zayn promo, that's what he's going to tell us. That Kevin's my best friend. We've been friends our entire lives. Wrestled through all these different companies. Wrestled with honor. They both said we're not going to go to AEW. We're going to stay in WWE. And look what happened. Now they're in the hottest program of the damn century. Not the decade, of this century. The Bloodline. And this past 8 months has been the best wrestling story that I've ever seen. Like, I don't know, like, Suge, you've been watching wrestling longer than I have. But, like...
Thanks for calling me old, for sure.
But this...
But
this story is it. It's it right now.
Rhodes and Sammy have brought me back into wrestling. I don't normally watch Monday night. I don't normally watch Thursday night. I don't really watch a pay-per-view. These two have brought me... Like, Reigns is cool, all the stuff. This has brought me back. I'm sorry, but I need to see either Legacy Reunite or Randy versus Cody with some deep storytelling.
That's inevitable.
I'd love to see Randy and because they did it before Cody got hurt when they did because I think they were setting up a little storyline between Riddle and Cody when he got a little jealous when Randy and him hugged.
They did the whole 20th anniversary for Randy thing, and Cody came out, but Randy's been hurt for a few months. And God knows when he's going to come back, but that's inevitable.
Is Riddle's out? Is Riddle out for a while?
I don't want to delve into what the dirt sheets have been saying, but I don't think we should expect him anytime soon.
Yeah, I know some things have been going on with that.
But Cody versus Randy is, especially if Randy comes back and he can, because I know he had a back injury, and I know back injuries are not the best. Plus, his finisher requires him landing on his back. So yeah, but
he's not young anymore.
Right. But I think you gotta at least run that once. You gotta run that at least one time. If he comes back and can still wrestle, Cody versus Randy. That would be a great match for Randy to end on. If he only has one more, Cody is it. Yeah, and that's the thing with Riddle, right? Like, you have some personal stuff going on. Cody will like to feud with
Gunther, Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul's gonna be feuding with Seth.
That's Logan, Cody for later. Yeah, like maybe later. I said this on Saturday when we were watching the Rumble. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, and I'm gonna rue the day it happens. Logan Paul's gonna hold the strap at least once. Like,
wait. When you said that right now, this is what I think when you say that. If that happens, this is gonna be Chris.
No. What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn! No. What?
That was me when he came in at number 29 or whatever number it was. Like, I was pissed.
That wasn't you. That wasn't you. This
I was pissed off. But it's a matter of time before Logan Paul holds the strap. It's gonna piss me off.
Would you give him the IC or Universal title first?
They're gonna give him the strap.
You think why you say it like that? You're yelling at me right now.
They gonna get him. Oh, you see this dog? This belt's signed by Seth Rollins.
Is that Seth Rollins? That's dope.
We've had this.
Is that a Target belt or is that like a real belt?
This is like one of the replica ones. Me and my buddies years ago.
It's real.
It's real. Me and my buddies, we put money into this years ago, and like we'll play like games against each other and shit, like video games, whatever, and we'll give the belt around. And on Saturday, I won the belt for the first time in years. So I got the strap. But
Can I hit you with that one time?
What?
Can I hit you with that one time?
What, this?
Yeah, can you just bring it to Cali and then I'll just one time.
This is going to be everywhere I go because God knows I'm going to lose my first defense. But no, in conclusion, I won't be watching during that time. Just like I stopped watching during Miz title run. Which Miz title run? The first one, 2011. That was a dark time. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I didn't know Miz got knocked out in that WrestleMania match.
Yeah. If you hear, I think he's gone on record saying he does not remember finishing that match.
Yeah, I watched that,
which is crazy as hell. Yeah, Big Reg. I don't blame you, dog. I was watching because I just got into wrestling like a couple years prior, so I was watching, and that's how I became such a John Cena mark.
Look at if you all don't know, Chris keeps reminding me how old I am. Chris is only 23 years old.
I'm 25, Shug.
You're a bastard. I hate you.
I'm 25. But but both Rumbles were good, and regardless of what wrestling Twitter would tell you,
wrestling Twitter does not like the women who came in at number 30 on the women's. They are pissed.
Yo, okay, so first of all, Rhea Ripley again, the obvious choice to win the 100%. Rumble. Obvious, 100%. And she kissed. And shout out to her and Liv Morgan.
She got hurt.
I mean, she said her knee got dislocated, but she popped it back in, which is insane. But I mean, she showed up on Raw the next night, so she must be all right.
Yeah, no, she said she's fine, but it popped out and it popped right back in, and
which is nuts how that works. But her and Liv Morgan went the distance. They started the match and they finished it, which is awesome. They stayed in the Rumble the same amount of time. People are gonna get lost in the sauce of Rhea, like she's the first woman ever to start at 1 and to finish the Rumble, right? And to win the Rumble. That's great. But also Liv Morgan lasted the same amount of time. She was eliminated last. Like, and I want to show love to Liv Morgan too, because that was a great performance on both of their ends. Rhea just happened to win, and that was the correct answer.
Yeah.
Like Rhea needed to win. She's been white hot for months. It's like Jamie Hayter in AEW. Just pull the trigger and watch her succeed. And Rhea is succeeding. She's the most over of the Judgment Day. Like of all the folks in the Judgment Day. Yeah. Folks want to see her win the strap. Like she's gonna beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. Like that's gonna be awesome. And I just think it's a huge, I shouldn't say huge mistake. I thought it was gonna be Rhea Bianca. That was my thought. And when she said Charlotte, I said, oh, okay. interesting because in my head I wanted new Asuka, and Charlotte.
Is this
Rhea.
Asuka from New Japan or
This is
what
she's
wrestler
essentially like taking parts of that of her character from when she was in Japan. She's still Asuka. That's still
promotion?
Asuka.
But it's not the Empress of Tomorrow because I know they kept calling her a different name or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they're toying with it a little bit, and she's like evil now, which is crazy. Like the shit she was doing on Raw yesterday scared the shit out of me. But the Rumble itself, again, you get the NXT people. Shout out to Roxanne Perez.
Who's homegirl that looks like a bodybuilder? She Hispanic girl, homegirl.
Oh, Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh my!
Raquel
that girl,
Gonzalez.
that girl could put me in a figure four any day of the week. She
Raquel. They did a good job of building up, like, because they announced the Elimination Chamber for the Raw Women's title shot at WrestleMania, and it was the Final Four on Raw. It was Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss. No, it was Nikki Cross. Oh my God. Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Raquel. So like that's awesome. That's great, you know. And all
they're in an elimination chamber.
Yes, they're going to be there's going to be a 6-woman elimination chamber at the pay-per-view for a title shot at Bianca at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So that's how they're going to do it.
So those are those four.
Those are four, and there's going to be qualifiers for the other 2 spots.
Okay.
Because like Carmella came back yesterday, Alexa Bliss is going to be part of that, so it's going to be a whole thing. And I might be getting some people wrong, but for the most part, that's it. But the women's match itself, love the NXT folks coming in there. Again, Roxanne Perez, like I love Roxanne. I think she's doing great in NXT. Zoe Starks was in there. Like it was some fun little surprises for me. Michelle McCool when she popped out of the crowd. And she was like,
and she did good. Yeah, but she did good though.
Like, Michelle McCool's always been rad when she comes back.
Yeah, but she did the last 2 Rumbles, she's been okay. This one, I really like what she did.
She was
surprised there wasn't no Forbidden Door stuff. Like we didn't
get
Forbidden Door.
I know.
We got Mickie James last year.
Right, and Mickie James, we were, and she came out with the Knockouts Championship. Like that was huge Forbidden Door shit. Like that was absolutely insane. But I was cool with the Women's Rumble. Like there was some fun moments. I preferred the men's one. I was just more invested in that one because I'm a big Cody Rhodes mark. But the right person won, and I love the final 3 with Liv, Rhea, and Liv Morgan. And Chelsea Green, I don't think they did her dirty. I think that was just like that suited the character, you know? Like, and now I think she's gonna do some cool shit later.
Is that the one that came in the ring and they threw it right out?
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, "No, it should have been me." No, like this whole thing. Yeah. But I think Chelsea has a bright future in the E if she doesn't get hurt again, especially under Triple H. I think it's going to be a good thing, and hopefully one day Matt Cardona can join her.
Now, obviously the people wanted one Samoan there, which was The Rock. But they ended up getting Nia Jax.
Yeah, right. They got the wrong cousin.
What were your feelings about that? Because to me, it was like, okay, I know a lot of people don't like her, but she came in. She eliminated 1 or 2 people, and then she got eliminated by everybody, and that was kind of dope. I saw when she walked around the ring, I thought she was gonna do something, like she was gonna get crazy, but then she ended up just bouncing. Do you have a problem with it? She didn't even show up on Monday night last night.
No. I don't care.
Do you think it was a one-time thing? Do you think it was,
I don't give a shit. Like folks lost their freaking minds.
Dude,
with Nia Jax for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
When Nia Jax came out. And honestly, I didn't care because I knew Rhea was winning.
Yeah.
Like if Rhea wasn't in the match, or if in a different timeline there was a chance that Nia was going to win, which there wasn't one. Like, maybe I would have been upset if she won, but with the star power that they had and the established talent that was still in the ring, that's what made me think like, okay, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I know Nia has a reputation outside of the wrestling ring. She's infamous for her acts inside of a wrestling ring and folks getting injured in her matches. Like, I get that. They obviously must like her to bring her back, you know. They must think she contributes something. And she gets heat the second her music plays and the second she starts speaking, like what Big Reg is saying in the chat, she got to pop. Because who expected Nia Jax? Not me.
No, I did. Yeah, I sure didn't.
What the
I
hell?
Sure didn't. And I thought, like I said, I thought more legacy people were going to show up because I thought like 30 was going to be Beth Phoenix. I know
Well, because
a lot of people
Melina came back last year and Ivory and like all that
Yeah.
shit, you know?
a lot of people were upset because they thought Naomi was going to come back, but
Yeah.
we already knew Sasha is New Japan.
Yeah, Mercedes Monet. We love that.
Maybe they're saving Naomi for elimination chamber or something.
Maybe she don't want to wrestle too. Like, and maybe she wants to join Sasha in New Japan. Who knows? What's up, Rodney in the chat? See you, big dog.
All right, shout out to Big B. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I actually
I didn't mind it.
I think you're gonna kill me for saying this. I actually was looking forward to the women's Royal Rumble more than the men's because I knew Cody was gonna win.
Sure.
And I also knew Rhea was gonna win, but they made it like it's the opposite of what you were talking about with Cody, like, and how Big Reg was saying it helped lessen the blow that Sammy wasn't going to be in the Rumble, whereas Rhea going from 1 to 30.
Oh, she by far had a better, more impressive.
Did you not like kind of get the feeling she might not win? Like maybe you were like, wow, are they going to pull this trigger? Like they're going to pull this trigger on this? When Liv hit her with the knees, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna give it to Liv again. Okay. And then they she held on and then she eliminated Liv.
Right.
So I was like, she felt more earned. Like we all know why Cody's winning. We're he's doing a great job. He's white hot. Nobody's questioning it. With Rhea, it felt like no, she earned this one. She really earned this one. Like
totally.
And Bronny feels like they Asuka got.
God, Asuka stole the hearts of a lot of folks when she came out with that face paint. That shit was hard.
Because I was confused why they were up on her face. I was like, why are they up on her face? And then she pulled the mask off. I was like, oh,
it was scary as hell. No, Triple H is doing some great stuff, and that's why you see these folks succeeding, right? Like Rhea, a lot of the NXT people are coming back. A lot of folks that may have been done wrong by the previous creative team, they're coming back. There must be something in the water over there that's giving people hope for the future, especially with Vince going back to the company in whatever capacity. Triple H has made it known that creative's not changing, and the WWE product has been the best it's been in a very long time. And the women's match. The women's match did a couple things for me that the men's one didn't, right? You had the NXT people in it. You had the historic performances. Not saying that Gunther's wasn't, but like 1 and 2 going the distance, like that's awfully impressive. And Rhea, it's her time. It's Rhea's time to shine. And whether that be on Raw, SmackDown, she beats whoever, even though I wanted it to be Bianca and Rhea, but that's cool. We're getting Charlotte and Rhea. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But it was Rhea's time to shine. And the only reason I prefer the men's one was because I'm such a Cody mark. And Gunther's performance, that was, if folks didn't think he was a star, then now he is. But the same can be said about Rhea and Liv, if they already weren't established talents, which in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes they are. Now they're in the history books, they're in the record books for the rest of wrestling time. Like the first 2 women to go start to finish, and they're tied for the most time spent in the Women's Rumble. Granted, it's only been going for a few years, but it's still very, very impressive. And I loved it. I thought it was great. If there's a way to do co-winners, I know we've done that with Luger and Bret Hart before, but if there was a way to do co-winners, I would have been totally down for it. But Rhea was the right choice. I thought that was great.
For sure. I think I knew for sure Rhea was gonna win. Like you said, like it was a for sure thing that Rhea was gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything they did. Here, I'll change the background real quick. I like
That
I like
peck.
everything. Dude, that peck is destroyed.
It's nasty. Cody
He
said
was-
he hasn't. Cody said he hasn't watched this match, and that he doesn't
Yeah.
want to.
I don't know if you did, if you watched Logan Paul's podcast, but he had Cody on today. I was just watching it before we got on, and it's really good stuff. I love hearing Cody speak. Like
He's a good talker.
passion he has and everything. It was really good.
Mhm.
But he was talking about it. He talked about the peck and what happened and how the accident happened, how he tore it, how he hasn't watched the match yet, how he was crazy and how he got cleared because Logan Paul's like, how'd you get cleared? Because Logan tore his MCL and
Mhm.
he said I had to do a bunch of tests and he was like, look, I couldn't mess it up anymore and he said Vince told him if it looks bad, we're gonna pull the plug. Like, the match is going bad. We're just gonna end it. And it didn't. It was one of the best matches, even though it's hard to watch. I like how they are still pushing Bobby versus Brock feud. Yeah.
That's
gonna
Mania,
be good.
baby. That's WrestleMania.
Shout out to Jose. What's going on, Jose? Hope you're having a good
What's
night.
popping? Love that new logo, by the way. It's awesome.
You're awesome, Lilo. All right, let's real quick. I told you 1 hour. We're gonna be here too. Let's get into the main event of
Yes.
Royal Rumble, and then we'll get out of here.
Mhm.
We all knew that. I thought KO made a very interesting match, and I like what he did there. We all knew Roman was gonna win.
Mhm.
I didn't think they were gonna turn Sammy here,
Ah,
and they went for it. They full on
yeah,
went for it.
yeah.
What did you think about it? I mean, the match was good. It was a good, solid match. It made the KO look strong, everything like that. But it's the turn.
Okay.
The turn. And when he hit Roman, that stadium lost it.
The mics almost like it maxed out the microphones.
Yes, sure did. What were your thoughts? Where do you think we're going from here?
All right. Pros and cons. Cons, right? Here are the bad stuff. Here's the bad stuff about it. It went on for way too long. They dragged it out for way too long. Like, just get to the point. I know what you're trying to do, but I think they dragged it out for too long. All right. Another con. I'm kidding. That was the only bad thing. Everything else was incredible, right? It rocked. It was so good. It was a bit long. They dragged it a bit too long, but it was the perfect time to do it. They handcuffed Owens and they're super kicking him right in front of Sammy. And Sammy is like, Roman. He's like, my tribal chief, this is beneath you. This is beneath you. He's like, you're right. You do it. And it was so well executed that when the time came to do the whole chair hitting spot, I think Jeremy had mentioned it earlier in the chat. It was very reminiscent of the Shield. When the Shield broke up, Roman sold it the same exact way that he did in 2014 when the Shield split. And it was incredible. And you know what the best part about the whole thing was, in my eyes? Zayn was just as surprised that he did it as we were. And how like we were all elated and we're like, oh my God, they're doing it now. He didn't try attacking the rest of the bloodline. They just proceeded to beat the shit out of him. Like, it wasn't even a fight. It was a mauling of Sami Zayn.
They beat
the piss out of him.
Yeah.
And the shot, the final shot of them in the ring, like Owens is tied to the rope, he's handcuffed to the ropes, and Zayn sprawled on the mat with the flowers from the lei all around him. It is beautifully tragic, and just the latest chapter ending in this ever-evolving story. We are not done yet. There's still this third act of Sammy's come up, and it's gonna be incredible watching it. But the moment, shout out to everyone brought it, like Jimmy, Jay, Roman, they were all just like beautifully emoting, like disappointment or anger, sadness. Jay, oh my God, when Jay walked out, we had mentioned it a little bit ago. Jay refusing to get in on the beating up of Sami Zayn was
Solo had no problem with it. Solo
was Solo. And he just fucking give him the Samoan spike. By the way, I love that they gave him the Samoan spike. Perfect touch.
Yeah. Is Solo Umaga's cousin?
Solo
right?
is Jimmy and Jay's brother.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
they're all
Younger brother?
Rikishi's kids.
They're all Rikishi, but he's their younger brother.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If I have my Usi family tree right, Solo is Jimmy and Jay's brother.
Wow, that's crazy. God,
So
he
they're all
looks bigger than
Rikishi's
them.
kids. Yeah.
He looks huge.
Right. But I mean, Rikishi's a big dude.
No, but like Jay and
Compared to Jimmy and Jay, right?
Jimmy and Jay like are slim, but they're like they're yoked.
Yeah.
Like,
Solo's a big dude.
Like
Yeah.
fucking, he looks like Umaga. Like he could be Umaga like reincarnated.
Right.
Like,
and they're kind of treating him as such.
Yeah.
So which is very cool. But I
Umaga's
love
son
the
just
moment.
got into wrestling as well. Oh, Jesus.
There are a bunch of Fatus hanging around. They're all over the place. But I mean, this was the perfect place to do it. I didn't want them to prolong it any longer. Like, just do it. And they did it. And Sammy was just as shocked as we were. They beat the piss out of him. And I am jonesing to see Sami Zayn on TV again. When? I have no... It might not even be on Friday on SmackDown. It might not even be then. They might wait. Because, like, this...
People are clamoring for it.
Yes, they are jonesing.
Because we didn't see any of the Bloodline on Monday.
None of them were on Raw. None of them.
And imagine none of them show up for SmackDown.
Like, it's going to be interesting. And they might have Roman show up or the Usos. Like, they'd be like, Jay, what are you doing, Us? Like, do all that bullshit. But I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, a little too long, but I'm nitpicking. That shit's great.
Big Red said, "Did you know that Vince didn't want Sammy on the screen the same time as Roman? It was Triple H. It was when Triple H took over that made it happen."
Again, shout out Big Red. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same thing, but Ariel Helwani at BT Sport did an interview with Sami Zayn, and Sammy. That's essentially what he said, that Vince did not want him and Roman on the same screen together. So when Vince left and Triple H jumped in, and they had a show in Canada, Paul Heyman couldn't go, and the Usos couldn't make it. So it was just Zayn and Reigns, and then magic was made, and the rest is history. Yes, Mommy.
AK is the best part of Judge's Day and needs the SmackDown time. Let me tell you something. I don't call any woman mommy, but she probably make me. Have you seen her like when she's just like chilling, like not in ring gear? Like she's just cool.
Right.
You know,
and she still looks like she can beat the shit out of you. Like that's
cool.
That's Mommy for real. Asuka will face Beyond. I think it's gonna be Asuka. It should be Asuka. And Asuka's gonna
exact interview. Yeah, Big Reg.
It's a great interview.
Shout out to Big Reg. I didn't know he was this big of a wrestling fan. Big Reg.
Yeah, shout out to Big Reg. But that interview is great for those who haven't seen it, especially now in hindsight after the breakup. Go watch the interview with Ariel Helwani on BT Sport. It's very well done. And Ariel's a great interviewer. But Sammy's very candid. They talk about Jay Briscoe in the interview. He talks about the whole formation of the bloodline.
Jay just passed. Is the wrestler
Jay Briscoe just passed away recently. Yeah. He talked about his relationship with Jay. Like the last time he spoke to him, like it was very sweet. It's a very sweet interview, and it's very candid and honest. So I love that stuff. But I love that moment. It was a great way to end the pay-per-view. And now we're on the WrestleMania, man. You got Elimination Chamber, and
there's no pay-per-view after Elimination Chamber.
From my understanding,
that's crazy.
There's none in March.
Crazy.
I mean, last year there was none because they did SummerSlam in late July. There was no pay-per-view in August.
Don't we used to get like Hell in the Cell or
typically, from my understanding, I want to say that I think Judgment Day ended up becoming an Elimination Chamber. And then because WrestleMania is in April, early April this year, they're just foregoing doing a March pay-per-view. Because it would be weird when you would do the pay-per-view. Because I believe it's in mid-February. I think that's when Elimination Chamber is. I don't know for sure.
It's like February.
It's February 18th. Like you can't run a show
yeah.
mid-March and then do WrestleMania 2 weeks later. Like it's weird. So I think they'll just kill time, which I think they perfectly can on Raw and SmackDown. And we'll have NXT stuff to worry about. But Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, I love it. I love it. If you'd have told me a year ago today that I would be all over a Roman Reigns storyline, I wouldn't have believed you. I couldn't stand Roman Reigns for the longest time. The character, not the guy. I think the guy's great. But I wasn't fucking with it. I didn't like it. Like I acknowledge that it was they were doing good stuff and that the matches were good, but I couldn't get behind it. The stuff with Roman. And I still think it's not perfect how they've been booking him, but the story itself is magnificent. It's magnificent.
When Triple H took over, he did say he wanted to put on a few less pay-per-views so they can build story longer. I think they're doing a great job. As much as there's pay-per-views I miss, like I wish he wouldn't got rid of Hell in a Cell, but he said it right. He said Hell in a Cell is a last resort.
That's how you end your feud.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna.
It's not just a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's not a pay-per-view, and I like that, and I like saving that. He said the same with Elimination Chamber, and I think, but I like what they're gonna like do with it. You know,
I wouldn't be surprised if this Elimination Chamber is the last pay-per-view of that name for a while.
Let's go back to In Your House. Remember In Your House?
Dog, NXT does In Your House, and they're pretty fun.
Shout out to Raven C. Bloodline storyline is a great story.
Magnificent story.
Don't be surprised if they cut pay-per-views depending if Vince still sells the company.
We'll see. The whole Vince stuff's interesting, and if they get a sale done, if they sell best case scenarios that they sell the Comcast, that's NBC's parent company, so they can just stay in NBC, stay on Peacock. That's best case scenario.
Fox is trying to buy it too, right?
I mean, shit. I read this thing how Fox is just losing money on SmackDown. Really? Like they're getting views, but they're still losing quiche on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if SmackDown ends up going back to USA at some point. Let's not get it twisted.
Was it SmackDown originally on Thursday nights?
SmackDown, it was on at one point. It was on Thursdays, on Tuesdays, Fridays, back to Thursdays, back to Fridays, the whole thing.
Oh, we got a hot take in the chat. Raven C said, "I hated Royal Rumble." I said, "Corey means Cody." Winning because he's coming back and they will hand him the title because he never won it before.
The Cody Rhodes, whether folks like it or not, he is one of the most popular wrestlers on the face of the earth. Him jumping over from AEW to WWE, being the first guy to do it, even though he was a WWE guy, he helped start AEW. He's a big reason why AEW exists. And then after a few years, he's like, you know what? I'm good. I want to go back and do the thing my dad never did. And I think it's a very compelling story. And he wanted to be a babyface. He didn't want to be a bad guy. AEW fans turned on him very quickly. And he got a breath of fresh air. I think, honestly, it's best case scenario for all folks. Cody brings something good for the casual fans. I think he puts on good matches for the marks like us. And he's very marketable. So I think it works on all cases. But if you don't like Cody, I get why you don't like Cody. But you're awesome talking to the guy. I own Cody Rhodes merchandise. And I want to give
Raven C doesn't like Cody.
Give him the strap.
I don't think Raven C doesn't like Cody. I just think Raven C, what he's pointing out is how they pretty much gave him, you know.
No, sure. Yeah, it was, don't get me wrong, it was very predictable. But, I still think it's best case scenario. Kenny and Young Bucks are the reason. Cody was part of it, but also all of them were. They needed all of those people that you just mentioned were integral parts in the start of AEW, 100%. And Jericho, low key, you can make an argument Jericho was the most important because he was the big name of all of them. Jericho was the recognizable face, and he still is. That's why Jericho's so big over there. Love AEW. I love what AEW is doing with Jericho, even though he always has to have a faction, doesn't he? I don't mind Cody. I just don't like the fact you knew he was winning. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Rumbles are more fun when you don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah, had they never said anything about Cody, I think people would have got worried, and then he shows up at 30. Then I don't think anybody's complaining. Like
That's best case scenario. That's how I would have done it. But also, like what you said earlier, if they don't announce Cody for 30, folks are gonna think it's Sami Zayn, and then Cody's music hits. I don't know. I think the reaction is a little more mixed.
See, and this is what I was talking about. We, and I think Raven C, you'll probably agree. I think we all knew that Ripley was going to win, but the fact she started at 1, it felt like she had to earn it, and it was like, oh shit, are they going to give it to her?
And she came in like hurting because she got speared earlier during the men's rumble.
Because Morgan hit her with those I don't know who he's, because it's not the bank statement. What was the one that was Code Breaker? It was, she did her
the Code Breaker. Shout out.
And I thought she was going out, and then obviously Rhea wins. So yeah, I agree with Raven C. Not knowing who was going to win, but I think that's the problem. If you don't announce Cody, you might think people might think it's
folks
Sammy.
might think it's Sammy, right?
You know, did we not know that before? Regardless if they announced him being in the Rumble, well, originally when he did a promo, I think before he was going to go have a surgery, he was talking about Money in the Bank. And I thought he was going to come back for Money in the Bank.
God, that would have been crazy. Like that was such a quick turnaround. Like, I mean, shit, he didn't get cleared until the day of the Rumble. Right? No, right. Like what you said is fact. Like it's crazy that one of the EVPs is the first guy to bounce and go back to the E. But again, it works out. And what he was doing at AEW just didn't suit him anymore. You know, like it's like when you get you go work at a gig and it's cool for a few months, it's cool for however long, but then you don't like it anymore. It's not for you. And then you go back to the E, and it's obviously working out for everybody. Asuka came in. Yeah. No, Asuka, damn, she looks so cool. I love how they're presenting her now. She looks super rad.
Or two inside. And that's the big thing with the internet now. Wrestlers are so inside now that they know so much going on. Like that's why I kind of stay away from it. Like not stay away from wrestling, but I stay away from knowing all the stuff because, like you said,
all the rumors, dirt sheets. Yeah.
Like I grew up in that age where you didn't know. Like I remember when Hogan came out and helped Brett, and then he beat Yokozuna, which was a bad decision. Now that we all look at it. But back in the day, that was like, oh shit! You know, Ultimate Warrior shows up to help Hogan. Like nobody knew that was happening. Like,
I mean, and to the whole Rumbles being better, who's winning, I 100% agree. One of my favorite Rumbles ever is the 2018 Rumble, the one that Shinsuke Nakamura won, solely because the final six, right? The final six, they did the cool spot where it was Cena, Orton, and Ray on the one side. And that was when Ray came back, the first time. And then it was Reigns, Nakamura, and Balor on the other side. So it was like, oh shit, it's the new guys and the old guys. It's like ruthless aggression in a modern era. And those final six, you're like, who the hell's winning this thing? It could be Mysterio. It could be Cena. Could be Orton. Reigns, obviously, is always an option to win anything he's in. Balor and Nakamura. Like, I love that. And like we didn't know who was winning when Nakamura won. Obviously, the whole world lost their shit. Let's not talk about what happened at the Mania after that, because that match sucked.
Let's not talk about that.
But the anonymity of who's going to win definitely plays a part into it. Like same thing with 2020 when McIntyre won the Rumble. That was fun. Like it was cool. But at the same time, I'd be damned if I didn't know Cody was going to win the Rumble, but I still was excited. In my heart, I got chills when his music hit. Like, that's what wrestling does to folks, and that's what the shit did to me.
Look at Chop, man. Raven C and Big Reg. I didn't know y'all were big wrestling fans. Like
Ring of Honor,
I am
Major
not
League Wrestling.
I don't watch like the Ring of Honor stuff. I just don't even know how to find it. But WWE. I'll catch AEW. I'll tell you this, Chris. I don't think you know this about me. I was a big WCW fan over WWE.
Ah, you're watching Nitro on
I
Mondays.
loved Nitro. I love Nitro.
You're watching
NWO.
Nitro.
When NWO came out, it was like the greatest thing in the world.
I bet,
Like,
dude.
And then when they split and you had the Wolfpack and you had the White NWO,
Right.
LWO,
The Latino
loved
World
WCW.
Order.
But then WCW went to shit, and I was like, I'm done. Go to WWF. I'm currently only watching WWE and AEW, but the more that's more, so I don't have any more time. Yeah, exactly. Same with me.
There's a ton of wrestling, and that's the thing. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's so many different options. Wrestling's becoming way more accessible. So, like, it's
I had this argument so many times. WCW Goldberg versus Stone Cold. I was like, Goldberg kills him.
damn.
Like,
that's dream. That's probably like the dream match at the time.
and we
Stone
never
Cold
got
and
it.
Goldberg.
Yeah. And this is back when there was no internet. When Razor Ramon showed up on WCW, we literally thought WWE was invading WCW. We did not know that was fake. We were like, no. And then Diesel shows up. You're like, bro, this is WWE's, and like they never talked about it. We're like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
And that's
They
when you
just
learn, like,
disappeared one day.
Yeah, that's when you learn. Like, no, they showed up with fake Diesel and Razor Ramon.
Right.
This is the shit I grew up on. It was great. This was the 35th Rumble. I don't know if the Saudi one counts.
I don't count the Saudi Arabia one. I don't count it personally.
Oh wow!
No offense,
Watch Lucha Underground.
Dog,
Big Reg and Raven C wrestling fans. I like this.
I was talking about Lucha Underground on Saturday because I mentioned how Ricochet was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, and some of my buddies who are in the room, they're like, "What's that? Who's Prince Puma?" I'm like, "Dog, like that's like imagine Ricochet but cooler," and he was wearing a mask. Super rad.
When Sting didn't let anybody know he wasn't with them was a great absolute. When Hogan turned heel, you want to talk about kids losing their freaking mind? We lost it.
Yeah, when he went Hollywood, dog. Come on.
When he
what was that? Bass at the Beach.
Bass at the Beach. When he shows up, everyone's like, "Okay, he's here to help." And then Bobby Heenan. Now you're like, God, it was so obvious because Bobby Heenan's like, "What if he's the third guy?" And everyone was like, "There's no way Hogan's the third guy." What? And then that was back when fans were throwing shit in the street.
Yeah.
Like, and they were pissed. And like Razor, and they were Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and you're like, wait, what the hell? And you're thinking, oh my God, Vince McMahon's gonna take over. Dude, that was like, there was no internet. That's what was so great about it. Like, there was no spoiling,
right,
or anything. And then the internet came along, and now we just spoil everything. And it's
like wrestling fans are too. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like how naive I was when I first started watching wrestling, or I didn't know anything. I would just watch on a weekly basis, watch the pay-per-views, and I missed the naivety that I had. That probably a lot of fans might have now, you know, where like they don't go on the dirt sheets, they don't get the rumors, they don't subscribe to Fightful, you know, like any of that stuff. But I still think there are things to love in wrestling right now, whether you watch WWE, whether you watch AEW, New Japan, AAA, PWG, whatever, Impact. Like, there are things to like. And the one thing that pisses me off the most is when folks try to dunk on each other for liking certain things. Like what you like, and who gives a shit? Who cares? No one cares. Oh, you don't like WWE? I don't give a shit. Oh, you don't like AEW? I don't give a shit. I watch both. I've gone to so many AEW shows in the last few years.
Unless it's DC Comics, then we all dunk on you.
Right.
No, I love DC Comics. Do I remember LWO?
Suge was a part of the LWO.
Eddie Guerrero, Conan.
Did you hear
was it Super Crazy?
Did you hear the Conan reference during the Rumble on Saturday?
I think I did.
Corey Graves.
Conan popped out of nowhere for some reason.
Corey Graves mentioned he was talking about Dominic Mysterio. he said something like, "Oh, like
his uncle."
yeah,
Yes,
he said his uncle Conan. Yeah,
Yes,
and
Conan.
I popped for that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They
Conan.
mentioned Conan by name on fucking WWE TV. Are you kidding me? I was so fucking shook.
That resonated a lot with us, me and my friends, because we were like living in a Latino gang area. So to see that kind of wrestler, I was like, oh, that's dope. Because he would always come out in the bandana.
That's what him and Rey Mysterio with no mask. Rey Mysterio.
Yes, I was just watching something on that the other day, how they made that decision. And then,
to take his mask off?
Yeah, and then it pushed him really hard. The Bushwhacker, I used to love the Bushwhacker. I watched WWE, but WCW was like my thing because I really liked before Hogan turned heel, I was a Lex Luger fan. I was all those guys, and so but man, we've been here for 2 hours.
I remember right before you started, you said, how long I got you? Like an hour? And I said, yeah, I'll stop you when I feel like we've had enough. It's all right.
Are you stopping me right now?
I feel like you're about to stop. Either way, Rumble was cool. Wrestling's awesome. Who gives a shit what people say? You like what you like. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Goldberg versus Twin Towers. Well, no, I was gonna say this before we get out of here. I was gonna say this.
Yes.
This is why Wrestle Real needs to come back, because I love your passion. I don't care if I got to put it on my channel. I need Wrestle Real to come back, because I will let you sit here and talk. If you want me to host a show with you, I'll host it with you. I can't talk as much because I know wrestling, but you know wrestling. I miss this passion of you talking about wrestling. I really do, because I would sit in the chat while you did Wrestle Real and would listen to you go at it, and I loved it. And I love this passion that I'm seeing from you right now. So we're gonna talk after this. Okay, we're gonna talk. It's once a month. Okay?
I love wrestling. I love Nick Mulbach. I love that show.
And we can't use Wrestle Real because it's not.
I do sometimes. Whenever they call me, I go. I talk wrestling sometimes for the Eat Sleep Suplex Retweet folks. My folks from overseas, from the UK. I love those guys. I actually did something with them earlier today. So because the time change, it's like 6-hour difference between them and us. Yeah. Or them and me, I should say. So it's I do wrestling on there from time to time. But I'm actually, and I don't want to jump ahead to like plugs and stuff on what I'm doing. I am actually going back to weekly podcasting.
Yes.
On Flickin' Reel, FLICK-N-REEL. Going back to doing my weekly BS with my boy Scott Fox. We're doing a show called News and Views. It's a movie news, geek news program. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Our first show is on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday.
Check it out.
And both of us are so excited to do it. Flickin' Reel is a channel. We're so excited to do it. And gives me a reason to wake up early on Saturdays. So that's going to happen starting this week. So follow me on Twitter for more updates and for more info on that. The letter C, Anthony Lopez. But who knows? Maybe a WrestlePod will have to come back at some point. There's my Twitter. But
right there.
When I was asked about wrestling weekly podcasts, I didn't necessarily say no. So we'll see. There are a lot, and I guarantee that there are gonna be some folks that might hear about me talking about this, and they might want to do that. But we'll see. We'll see.
Too bad, because I've already assigned you to a deal.
You claim you're like, I'm like Kota Ibushi out here, man.
Yes.
Apparently, Kota Ibushi left New Japan. He's gonna go to AEW. Like he's gonna be. I think so. Kenny Omega, they're the Golden Lovers in New Japan. Kenny Omega's in AEW right now. Obviously, is the EVP. Kota Ibushi's totally going to AEW. But I love wrestling, dog, and shit. I like football too, man. I like
Yeah,
sports.
I loved it. I loved you hearing talk about football. You know,
I like
yourself.
sports.
Like I said, a lot of people don't know this. You work in the industry of sports. You work in the industry of radio.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can tell that you got the golden mic
No, stop
voice,
it.
and
Stop
you can
it.
talk for hours, which I love.
Oh,
And
Eli
you
in the
do this-
chat. I see you,
shout out
big
to
dog.
Eli. Shout out to Eli.
Golden Lovers
Golden Lover
reunion. My
reunion.
man, Eli. What's up, dog?
Yeah, Junkyard Dog. Yep.
Junkyard dog. Love that.
Remember the days of
King Kong Bundy. I love that this turned into like the nostalgia pod. That's great. Oh yeah, the Tales in the Yo, for those who have not seen like Dark Side of the Ring and shit, Suge, have you seen any of that stuff?
I watched some of it. You're talking about when older Vince said he would never go after the territories, and then younger Vince took over and took all over the territories.
But like Dark Side of the Ring, there's some great episodes. Dark Side of the Ring, and it's some terrifying stuff, absolutely terrifying. But dude, whenever you shine the Chris signal, I'll be here. Now I'll bring the strap until I lose this, and I won't have any.
I mean, speaking of shining signals, we got to get together eventually and talk that DC. I don't know if you're doing it on Flick and Reel or whatever, but DC news came out today.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I'm gonna hold Chris to this. And everyone, this is on video. When Ant-Man comes out, me and Chris will be reviewing it.
I feel like no matter where I am, I know I got to do the Suge review pod. I gotta.
Yeah. And Raven C is reminding me. I was supposed to download the video, and I was gonna play it for you just a minute. Where he goes, "I am not a pervert."
Oh yeah,
that's one of my bits. I love
Brett screws Brett.
Brett screwed Brett. The Chris Benoit two-parter was heartbreaking. Absolutely. Anything that has involved with Chris Benoit has always been heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's tough.
Hard to watch.
The Benoit one's tough.
I don't know if it was Dark Side of the Rings, but there was an episode where they were talking with Mankind when Rock hit him with the chair shots. Like that was tough to watch. That was tough. I don't know if it was
the match is hard to watch.
That match was hard to watch.
Like
and
it's
I remember,
rough.
But you gotta remember me at that time was screaming like, "God, kill him!" And you were like, "God damn, how can Mankind take that shit?" And he took it.
His family was there too, his kids and shit.
They're in the front seat. They're in the front row.
That's so messed up. But Mick Foley's a son of a bitch. Dude, Mick Foley may be the toughest wrestler to ever live.
Shit, and I want to leave right now, but I need to ask you about that. Speaking of The Rock, because I was thinking about when he hit Shamrock in the freaking head, he almost killed him.
Oh yeah, he clocked him. Yeah.
What did you think about The Rock not showing up? Because the rumor is he said that he wasn't in shape because supposedly his schedule's open till WrestleMania.
I'm glad he didn't show up. He did not need the Rumble. You could do Rock Roman without.
If he would have came back and run the Rumble, I'd have been pissed.
I would have been mad. Don't get me wrong. I would have popped for the Rock because who isn't? But I would have. But I would have been pissed off afterwards.
Black Adam fans aren't popping for the Rock.
I mean, are there Black Adam fans? I'm kidding.
Look at someone. Shout out to Delicia. She does an off aftermath or off the mat wrestling podcast yesterday. With their co-host Cal, and he said the Rock brings draws, and I jokingly put he brings draws, and then says looks at Black Adam, and I was like I don't know.
See, like the Rock Roman, save that for WrestleMania 40. No belts. You don't need belts for that. It's Rock Roman. You don't need that. No belts. You don't.
Oh, New Jack was nuts. New Jack was trying to kill.
Yeah, Christ. That's a whole.
He would do an 8-ball coke and then go out there and wrestle.
Yeah, rest in peace, King.
I don't know if because you and me are big into TikTok. There's a guy and Eli's like that's every 90s documentary. There's a guy that he takes the documentaries, but he splits them up into TikTok, so it's like a minute or minutes.
I've seen
and you said and they do some. He did one on the Dudleys, and it was really good. Like it was really how they met, how they came up in ECW, how when they came to WWE, and they were talking about Public Enemy, how Public Enemy went against the Acolytes, and Acolytes beat the shit out of them, and then they left. So then everyone thought Dudleys were going to do the same thing, and like Dudleys took the whoop. they hit the Acolytes, and then the Acolytes got them and took their lumps, and then everyone was like, nope, you guys are cool. Like you guys are, and then they went through that whole trial and tribulation of WWE. That I love watching stuff like that because I was really a big Dudley fan, big ECW fan. I loved ECW back in the day with Spike Dudley. They tell a story about how Devon and Bubba became a tag team, and how the Dudley brothers were all inbred white people. So I love stuff like that. Eli, we're trying to get out of here, and you're over here. We've been doing this for 2.5 hours. You want to keep talking? No, it's all love, Eli. I thought of my fantasy booking. It's valid now of Sammy winning the belts at WrestleMania for 40 because of most of the time the underdog wins the belt at the whole number of minutes.
Oh, like WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Well, I hope by that point they split the belts up, for the love of God.
Can we get the old WCW belt back?
Oh, the big gold belt?
I love that belt.
That belt is freaking rad, ain't it?
Dude, that belt was. I don't like the universal.
It's
belt.
the blue strap. It's this with the blue strap.
But like even the red one, I didn't like.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of the color stripe, the color strap either. Like I prefer like this is good. The black strap is rad. But the big gold belt that'd be preferred. But I don't know if they can. No, Eli, and we appreciate you stopping by, big dog.
No, yeah, you're good, man. I'm just giving you a hard time because here's the thing about me and Chris. We have this conversation every damn time we're gonna do a show together. We can't go longer than this, and Chris goes, "Yeah, I'm tired. Let's not go long." And I'll say, "All right, we're not gonna go long."
Yeah.
And then we'll do a 2-hour show.
I chugged a coffee. Before we were talking football earlier. I was drinking my coffee. I mean, I'm up now. I'm gonna crash hard.
And you got to go to work tomorrow.
I got home from work at 7:00 Central Time, and I said, okay, like I'm doing the show with Suge in half an hour. Let me make some coffee and let me get this party started. And he asked me, in all fairness, he said, "How long do I got you? An hour?" I said, "I'll tell you when I can stop or when I'm not good." So 2 hours and 28 minutes later, I think we're good.
Exactly. Now, before we get, what's your favorite belt
of all time? Like world title?
Any belt.
Any belt. White strap, Intercontinental title, and it's not close.
Really?
I was a big, when I first started watching wrestling, I was a big fan of the mid-card belts. US title, IC title, I love those. I love the idea now of bringing back the European Championship. That's a different conversation. But the IC belt to me was always my favorite because my first feud I remember watching and loving was Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio for the IC belt, the old like oval belt. I didn't know a white belt existed until Cody brought it back.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cody Rhodes, and when Cody brought it back, I said, "What's that? Has a white strap? That's crazy." And now the belt's cool looking, I guess, but the white strap IC belt, the OG or the one that Cody brought back in the early 2010s, late 2000, whenever that was, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. White IC belt, favorite belt.
I like the yellow IC belt. I love.
Oh, you're a man of classics.
I like Warriors IC belt. I always have. I like to go. Obviously, the smoking,
respect that.
The smoking skull.
Oh hell yeah!
The wing belt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a certain tag belt I like, but I don't remember what they were called. But
I love I mean, you mentioned Goldie, the big gold one, the WCW world title. Yeah. That was cool. Definitely one that grew on me over time. But the IC belt and here I'll end on this. The spinner WWE Championship belt, overhated, and I think now underappreciated. That belt rocked.
The US belt was dope.
That belt also rocked.
The WWF one was dope, but that US spinner belt was dope.
Cena, although the spinner belts may have, especially the world title spinner belt, it overstayed its welcome, but it was still pretty damn cool. It was very cool.
Eli likes the pre-spinner WWE belt.
Understood. There aren't too many wrong answers to
NWA's belt was dope. I always like NWA.
Oh, if we're talking about other companies, like oh God. What other belts do I dig? I love the new. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, the New Japan IC belt's white strap. I could be wrong. But I love the different variations of the strap.
Big Reg going old school WCW United States Championship.
Love that. I'm a big fan of the OG NXT Championship. Love that. Didn't mind the spinner belts. Only belts I didn't like is the tag belts. You're talking about the tag belts now?
The current ones?
I miss the old world tag team championships and WWE tag team championship.
Yeah,
like, I miss those.
But there was ones before it that I liked of the tags, but I don't remember what they were called. All right, belts. Before we get out of here though, before you plug your stuff,
yes,
what belt would you bring back? Light heavyweight, European, hardcore. Is cruiserweight gone, right?
Yeah, for now. When NXT UK went away, I thought it was a missed opportunity to make that belt, like, to keep it around in NXT. But the WWE European Championship, or just make it the NXT European Championship. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be pretty rad. Hardcore, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, but I would love that. Or I don't want to steal from AEW because I think AEW nailed this idea on the head, and Impact sort of has one too. A TV championship. That'd be cool as hell. Only defended on TV. No pay-per-views.
WCW had that, right?
WCW, like I want to say had one.
Dustin was the TV champion for a while.
Impact has a digital media championship that's defended on like fucking on like Twitch and shit. Super rad. But like, give me shit like that. Give me a WWE TV championship.
Actually, I know.
Don't name it like the Fox. Don't do like what AEW did. Name it the TBS TNT. Don't do that. But just name it the WWE TV Championship. I think that'd be very cool.
I know what your favorite belt is. It's the Star Wars Schmodown belt.
That belt's pretty hard. It's pretty hard.
The NWA Championship with the red strap and the NXT North American Championship look good too. Yeah.
NXT North American red strap. It's like a maroon. I love that. The internet champ, Matt Cardona, always and forever in my heart. Hope he comes back to the E soon.
Well, it's been 2.5 hours, Mr. Chris Lopez.
Yes.
So before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find all your great work, and where they can follow you at.
The easiest answer is to follow me on Twitter, right down here at the letter C, Anthony Lopez. You can catch me on Flick and Reel on YouTube every now and again. Flick and Reel, FLICK-N, the letter N, -REEL on YouTube. Go ahead and check us out on Flick and Reel's Twitter as well. FLICKNREEL. I am going live this upcoming Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific. I almost said Eastern. Pacific Standard Time. We're doing news and views. Me and my buddy Scott Fox. We're going to be talking about the latest and greatest in the news, whether from movies, and we might do some other fun stuff too. You know damn well we're talking about the Chapter 1 of the new DC Studios slate, Gods and Monsters. We'll be talking about a bunch of that. I'm looking forward to that. And they're doing a Michael Jackson biopic, and I'm very eager to chat about
Michael Jackson,
his nephew, Jafar Jackson. If I pronounce his name right. It's a whole thing. But news and views, Flick and Reel's YouTube channel. Go subscribe over there. Show some love. We got reactions, reviews. We do speakeasies on Friday nights, little open discussion platforms. A lot of fun. But everything I do, I share on my Twitter at the letter C, Anthony Lopez. Bad Boys 4 got announced.
We did miss that because Big Rich did bring that up.
You know damn well it'll be on the news and views lineup this upcoming Friday or this upcoming Saturday morning. So go ahead and check us out there. Follow us on the socials. Follow me on the socials. Subscribe to my boy Suge's channel if you already aren't. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the bell for notifications every time my boy goes live for videos just like this one. Suge, I had a blast, dog. And if I didn't, I know damn well I wouldn't be here for 2.5 hours.
Let me tell you something, Chris. Every time you and me get to hang out, it's the best time I have.
I love it. I love it.
I love you. I love it.
I love you.
Talking to you. You are my boy. And I
love you,
miss
Chad.
doing this I miss doing this with you. Miss
Same,
talking
dog.
about all the stuff we used to talk about, and it's just always great. And I'm gonna have you back on again. I'm gonna have you back on Late Night with Suge Knight. And speaking of Late Night with Suge Knight, it's gonna be an interesting one this weekend. Because Friday, Late Night with Suge Knight is gonna be Late Night with Suge Senior and Suge the Second. I will be having my father on.
Wow.
Yes, it is gonna be very interesting. So if you want to check that out, be here. It's gonna be a little.
That's gonna be must-see TV.
It's gonna get intense. I was talking to him today, and it's gonna be very interesting to see where we go. So if you want to hang out this Friday, Late Night with Suge Knight, it's gonna be a little earlier. I think I said it for 7:30, I believe. So it's gonna be earlier. Come hang out. We're gonna talk a lot of things, a lot of stuff.
Word.
You and me have talked a lot about our personal lives together.
Sure,
and
yeah.
Growing up with, kind of not having a father. My situation was different compared to yours, but it's gonna be very interesting. So yeah, my dad's gonna be coming on the show. His first time being on camera. It's gonna be very interesting. So come hang out for this Friday. Make sure to like, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. If you have suggestions, if you want to get Chris Lopez as a full-time host, put that in the comments. He reads that. He likes that. It feeds his ego. Tell him how much you want him to be a full-time host. Make sure to follow Chris. Make sure to follow me on Twitch, Suge Knight 1323, Twitter, Suge Knight 323, TikTok, Suge Knight 323. And that's usually where and obviously YouTube, Suge Knight 323, where I released all our videos. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with Steel Conspiracy. I kind of like this talking, different things. So I think I'm gonna do that. Get different people on to come talk with me, not just about football, maybe off-season stuff, but other sports and things like that. And then obviously Late Night with Suge Knight will still be a thing. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. Really appreciate everybody hanging out. Jeremy Middle, Big Reg, Raven C. Did not know you guys were big wrestling fans. I'm gonna talk.
We're a bunch of marks, dog. I love it. I love it.
Shout out to Mr. Eli. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Brodney, Jose, Hendo, Mr. J the Six.
You all deserve the strap. Y'all the champ to me.
That sounds kind of harsh. The strap.
Not that strap. This strap.
But thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. It's been a great night. It's been awesome. I'll leave you with these parting words.
Grab his dick and twist it!
Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude. It's
You
too much.
twist that dick!
Twist his dick!
Twist his dick!
Oh my god.
Oh, dick twist!
Have a good night.
Because I spit hot fire.